I'm excited, Eric.
Yeah, I'm ready, man.
All right, peace, family. This is Jamie, from Sankofa, 180 degrees. How everybody doing, man? Look at Uncle up there. Hey, peace to the family, man. I just wanted to tell y'all, man, today is the day. We got the brother Eric, man, Eric James here on Sankofa, getting ready to do a powerful presentation, man. This brother has got 30 plus years in the game of well, I tell you what, man, we gonna let that brother introduce himself, man. And what you think, man? What you think? Go ahead, man.
Hey, man, ever since we hit it up with Eric, man, I've been like on my tippy toes, boy, trying to study up, keeping the game, boy. You know what I mean? And I always like to have something to show to my yeah, you see? Yeah. Yeah.
Look at this. It's a problem.
All day. We don't play over here on Sankofa, man.
Y'all got the pencils and pads, huh?
Yeah.
All day long, baby.
Yeah. So, you know, it's an honor to have Eric on here. You know, I placed it on a few other platforms, and people are always peeping our stuff on YouTube. So, you know, it's going to get some recognition. I've got some people that I'm going to send it to.
Okay.
They got, you know, like I said, I don't know the content, and I like it that way until you present it. But you know, I told a couple people, and I got a couple people in mind that, you know, got kids and, you know, got an opinion and stuff like that. So we'll just see what's popping, and I'm excited, man.
All right. I am too, man.
Hey, brother Eli, you want to say something, King?
Yeah, I'm Eli, and it's nice to be here, man. I'm glad that I joined today because I'm ready to learn. You feel me?
Yeah.
Sweet. Hey, okay, brother.
Eric is out there.
Go ahead,
Eric is out there with them young boys, man, from the game, man. So, you know, what a blessing. What a blessing.
All right. Well, thanks for the introduction, brothers. Thank you. Go ahead, Rizzo.
Did I say Eric and Eli? Both of them. So I just want to make sure, if you want to introduce yourself, introduce some of your background, Eric, you know, that's awesome. Carrie, you want to say something?
Thanks for all your work putting this together, Eric. Glad you're here.
Thanks, Carrie. Thanks so much.
Yeah. Hey, so we had a gecko in the pool, man. That motherfucker swimming across the pool. And Carrie was like, oh no, right? I never seen one before, so they don't know. It ain't.
Okay.
So yeah. Hey, so you know what an honor, Eric, man. Thank you so much, man. And hopefully we can get your mentor on too sometime.
I've been trying, man. Yeah, but he's been busy, tied up with some things. So as soon as he's available, I'll be hopefully getting him contact with you guys.
Yeah, no pressure, man. It's all good. We locked and loaded on Sankofa, man. So introduce yourself or whatever you want to do, man. But before you start your presentation, let me just plug in this quick little insert that I got.
Okay, real quick introduction. Yeah, my name is Eric James. Thanks for being here. Work with youth for, like I say, 30 plus years, at-risk youth in various states. So with a compilation of information that I've gathered over the years and continue to research, I'd like to present some today, introductory at best, at least, just to kind of talk about a few concepts about growth and development from infancy to adulthood, and with a specific attention put on the African male. All right.
That's tight, man. Infancy.
Yeah.
I like that. Man, I wish I had that at the beginning.
Okay.
We were trying to figure it out, and I was moving around a lot today, this week. So.
Well, that's fine. That's fine because the presentation should really kind of connect a lot of the dots, but we need to be aware that that's where it starts from the beginning. when we was talking about moral development and creating a good moral compass for the youth is that we start from the youth, from the beginning, infancy. All right, so from there, you go ahead and do your video, and then I'll take over from there.
Tell me a little bit if you don't mind. If you
Okay.
do, you know, we just skip it. But tell
Okay.
me about your African studies, your cultural studies.
Okay, what I also, well, first of all, in this presentation, I will be highlighting some works of Dr. Naeem Akbar and one of the books that he wrote, New Visions for Black Men. And within the book, Naeem Akbar talks about those stages, and he does a really good job at describing the stages. But he goes not only with the stages, but talks about solutions as to what we must do to change the current condition. And we can all agree that we are in a crisis, right? So because we are of African descent, I think our reference point should be pre-colonial studies of culture, civilizations, community life, and what that looked like. That should be our reference point because we don't really have a good reference point here in the United States.
You're gonna have to text that to me, man. Okay, you're gonna have to text that part to me.
Okay, I can.
Yeah, later on.
I can.
I like that.
Okay.
So, any more?
No, that's where we're gonna start today, and we'll just leave some time open for discussion, Q&A kind of thing from there. But I got a video I also want to share, and that's what I kind of want to open up with the video, and then we'll go from there. It's about 9 minutes, 45 seconds, almost 10 minutes.
Okay.
And then I'll pick up after that video. But you can start with yours first.
Okay, bet. Yeah, and then maybe later on we can hear more about your background in that title, that reference point that you talked about. At the end, after party or something like that, man.
Okay, you talking about relating to African studies?
Yeah, that title, that reference point that you put up there, that you put out there.
Okay.
African studies, or however you want to describe it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Let me start there. Jamie, anything else, King?
No, sir. Don't go ahead, man. It's wide open, man. It's y'all. Go ahead, man.
Okay.
Get out.
Okay, let me do this. So Eli, we still looking for you to share something too, man. Eli, we still looking for you to share something sometime. Just, keep it in mind. I'm going to end up showing this video.
Pull those pearls out of her mouth.
I'm going to end up showing this video one week, but I want to start with this. Everybody can hear me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you loud and clear, King.
Okay, bet.
Yeah, I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, bet.
The message for today is undressing a well-dressed lie. Okay? Undressing a well-dressed lie. Many years ago, my dad, and when I say my dad, I mean my uncle, really, who raised me. He was my father image in my life. Many years ago, he told me about an allegory. What did I just say? An allegory, which means that what he shared with me did not really happen, but it is a story concept to teach a lesson. He shared with me this allegory about the truth and the lie going swimming. Some of you might have heard that before, that the truth and the lie were out swimming one day. And the lie said to the truth, let me see how far you can swim underwater. So while truth was underwater swimming, lie took advantage of the time that the truth couldn't see what was going on and jumped out of the water and grabbed his clothes, grabbed truth's clothes and put them on and were running down the street. So people who saw the lie with truth's clothes on running down the street said, that looked like the truth. Running down the street. In the meantime, truth got out and saw that lie had taken his clothes and gave chase after the lie. And the folks saw truth come running down the street a little bit later and said, yeah, but here come the naked truth. What's really deep is truth eventually caught up with the lie. And when truth caught up with the lie, truth began to undress the lie to get his clothes back. Now, let's take this same allegory and put it in.
Okay, it's on you, Eric.
Okay. All right, I'm here. So now I'm gonna do a share screen. And right here, share. And this is about like it's 49 minutes, 42 seconds. Got it.
I love your enthusiasm. Scan wasn't brain. Scientists at UCLA, as Jake said.
Start it over again, Eric.
Okay, hold it. Oh, I guess I can't do that.
Yeah, take your time.
Can y'all see it and hear it?
Nope. So make sure you hit that volume button. Yeah, you can hear it now.
Enthusiasm. What makes me love my job. And my job is to study gap in the brain.
It's just glitching a little bit.
It's kind of choppy, man.
Years or so that we've discovered one of the most fascinating things. And
There
that
you
is that
go.
your brain is changing in response to my voice, in response to the person next to you. And your experiences, the people you affiliate with, shape the way your brain ultimately develops. We also know that the brain matures and continues to do so past childhood and into the teen years, well into your mid-20s. So most of you in this room today, as middle and high school students, don't yet have a fully mature brain. But this is actually really beneficial if we think about one of the functions of adolescence, which is to establish your independence from the caregiver. Because your brain, as an adolescent, doesn't do that. Compared to children and adults, the teenage brain is really good at seeking out new experiences, enjoying thrills, and seeking out risks. It's also really good at recognizing solar.
Hey, Eric, it's still kind of choppy, man.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, but the video is really choppy, man. You can't really understand what she's saying.
Oh, really? What do you think?
Yeah.
So
Let me
try
see.
it one more time.
Let me stop the share and start it again. That's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Let me do this again. Let me see.
You got my nephew Anthony on too.
Or you can give them an overview of what she's
Tell me what y'all hear now. Let me see if it's choppy.
Hi, thank you. I love your enthusiasm.
How is that?
Your
It's a little choppy still, but it speeded up some. Try one more time. We'll get it right.
experiences that people you affiliate with shape the way your brain ultimately develops.
Can you hear me?
We also live in
Yep.
the brain.
So let's do this, Eric. Start it all the way over one more time and just play it because it's we can read it at the bottom anyways.
But you can't hear it though.
We
It's
can hear
choppy.
it, but it's choppy.
I'll be fine.
But still play it anyways, because we can read it at the bottom.
Because it's clear. It's clear on my end. I don't know why it's doing that.
Yeah, I don't know either. Anthony, do you know why?
Huh?
I was talking to my nephew Anthony. Anthony, do you know why it's choppy on our end and not on his?
Nah.
Okay. So let's just go ahead and start it at the beginning and play it anyways, because we can read it.
Okay.
Hi, thank you. I love your enthusiasm. Your energy and excitement is really what makes me love my job. And my job is to study the adolescent brain, scientists at UCLA, as Jake said. So scientists have studied the brain for centuries, but it's only been in the last 15 years or so that we discovered one of the most fascinating things. And that is that
Hey, I got a question real quick before I go any further. Jamie, if I give you the link to the maybe if you pull it up, since you are the moderator, you probably gonna do it. It'll make it sound better.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay.
Yeah. Go ahead and send it to me, man. And
Okay.
I'll play it.
Just okay, Jamie. When we text it to you, or let me see. It's just
Send it to me on Messenger.
okay on my phone. Okay. All right. I'm gonna just send you. I'm gonna send you the link. That way, maybe if you play it, it won't.
It won't glitch.
Maybe. It won't glitch, right? All right. I'm going straight to Messenger with this. Where's messages? Messenger. Shit. And tweet. Oh, chats. There we go. All right. I just sent it to you, brother. All right. I just sent it to you.
All right. Hold on. All right. Here you go. I found it. I'm
gonna stop the share.
Give me a second.
Okay.
All right.
It's all good, Eric. We work it out.
All right. Cool. All right, let me pause this. Gotta ask my wife what time we frying this chicken. Hold on a minute.
All right.
Yeah. Hold on, man.
Don't be playing with that bird, boy.
Don't be playing with the bird, man. Don't be playing with the bird, Jack. I gotta get right before the night, you know?
Right. Hey, my nephew Anthony that's on, he the barbecue king.
Oh, that's what's up, then. I'm ready to get some tips, Anthony.
No doubt about it. I
gotta give me some tips, then, brother, because I love to get on that grill, man.
Hey, Eric, he came out to visit me, man. And he said, I said, I got this chicken taken care of, man. Go ahead and, do the thing to it and I'll go cook it. And he just sat there and let me go out there. And I said, man, that's cold right there. So I said, go on out there and cook that, man. And he tore it up, man. Like my game is a baby game to his. Yeah. He was flossing that all the whole week he was here.
That's what's up, man. Okay, let's see what we got now, fellas.
Okay. And Anthony, that's Eli, Joyce's son on, right?
Oh, okay. What's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, good. I didn't think y'all.
Yeah, what's popping, cuzzo?
Peace to you, Anthony. Peace to you. How you doing, King?
Hey, good, man. How you doing, huh?
Man, been missing you, man. You all right?
Yeah, man. Just making moves, man. Got the house listed and everything, and trying to get it sold. So
That's what's up, King.
I sent Nard the you got to see the house. It's all done. So
Yeah, I'll send it to him.
yeah, man, just working, figuring shit out.
Yeah, you're doing good with it, man. You're doing good with it.
So I appreciate that.
Let's see how this goes.
Hi, thank you.
There we go.
Love your enthusiasm. Your energy and excitement is really what makes me love my job. And my job is to study the adolescent brain. I'm a scientist at UCLA, as Jake said. So scientists have studied the brain for centuries, but it's only been in the last 15 years or so that we've discovered one of the most fascinating things. And that is that your brain changes every single day. As you sit in this room, your brain is changing in response to my voice, in response to the person next to you. And your experiences and the people you affiliate with shape the way your brain ultimately develops. We also know that the brain matures and continues to do so past childhood and into the teenage years and well into your mid-20s. So most of you in this room today, as middle and high school students, don't yet have a fully mature brain. But it's actually really beneficial if we think about one of the functions of adolescence, which is to establish your independence from a caregiver. Because your brain, as an adolescent, is built to help you do that. Compared to children and adults, the teenage brain is really good at seeking out new experiences, enjoying thrills, and seeking out risks. It's also really good at recognizing social or being sensitive to social and emotional information. And so for that reason, the teenage brain is really responsive to rewards and emotions when making decisions. And in my laboratory at UCLA and laboratories all around the world, we're interested in uncovering that very question. How does the teenage brain make decisions? One of the first discoveries relevant to this topic was made when we discovered that the part of your brain in the very front, called the prefrontal cortex, which is the last brain region to develop, because your brain develops from the back to the front, continues to change up until the mid-20s. And the reason this is relevant is because the prefrontal cortex is a part of your brain that helps you think about the consequences or potential consequences of your actions before you do them. It helps you regulate your behavior and your emotions. And so it makes sense that if this part of the brain isn't fully available until well past adolescence, then teenagers may make more impulsive decisions with less regard for the potential future consequences. But we now know that the story is far more interesting and complicated than that. And in fact, what we really need to do is think about how brain regions that are not at the surface of your brain, but in the deeper layers, how they change. And one region we focus on is called the striatum. And the striatum is the key component of the reward system. So when you receive something that you find rewarding, your striatum is very responsive, and it releases something called dopamine. And this is the case not just in humans, but in kids, in mice, in rats, in monkeys. All of these organisms respond really with a lot of excitement in their brain when they get something they like. So in my lab, we study this reward system across development, and especially in teenagers. And we do that by asking people to come to the laboratory and perform what's called a functional magnetic resonance imaging scan, or fMRI. And the beauty of fMRI is that you can take a snapshot of the brain in motion. So while you are experiencing something you like, or while you are making a decision, we capture how your brain is responding to that, how your brain is active. And so to study the reward system, what we did is not simply show people pictures of reward, which is what mostly happens in brain imaging studies, but instead what we did is we actually gave someone a reward. And what's something that people find rewarding? Sugar. So what we did is we asked people to come to the lab. We asked a group of teenagers and a group of adults. And while they were in the MRI, we hooked them up to a straw and we fed them squirts of sugar water every so often. And first we asked them whether they liked it. Maybe they weren't going to like the sugar as much as we thought, but they actually did. This is a rating scale asking them, how much do you like the sugar? And the average response is in red for the teenage group, and the adults is shown in white. And you can see that everybody liked it, but it's the teenage group who showed this exaggerated sensitivity. They really liked it. So we started to wonder whether there was something neurobiological that represented this difference. So instead of focusing on the prefrontal cortex, which is what a lot of brain scientists who study adolescents do, we looked at the deeper layers of the brain. So in this image, which is actually a real human brain image, averaged together among all our participants, we saw that in the deeper layers, here represented with this this yellow activation, the striatum was really excited to the sugar water. And this was across all age groups. But the really cool thing was observed when we looked at the differences between the teenagers and the adults. Here again, I'm showing you the magnitude of activation. That is how excitable the brain was in the teenagers compared to the adults. So this very simple reward of sugar. And you can see that
mute your mic, please.
much more excited to the same exact stimulus and in the same exact region of the brain. It's the teenage brain that was going crazy. It was really excited to get it. And when we associated that with their ratings of the sugar, it was only in the teenage group where we saw that people who showed greater activation in the brain in response to the sugar also told us they liked it more. So that means that in real time, at the very moment your brain gets something that it likes, it will make you think that it's better. And you can think or imagine that in future circumstances, your brain will encode that information and remember that you liked it. So it will bias your decisions toward getting more rewards. And that's what happens during adolescence. But to ensure that this wasn't just specific to something as simple as sugar, we gave people something else that everybody likes. And we did this while they were in the MRI. And what's something else that everyone loves to get? Money, right? Money. Everybody likes money. So we brought in a whole separate group of teenagers and adults, and this time we threw in a group of kids in there who were between about 7 and 10. And we found that, again, the part of the brain that was most responsive was the striatum, shown here on the left. This is a brain scan showing the average activation. But what you can see really clearly is that not only were the teenagers more reactive to the money than the adults, which you might argue is because maybe they have less of it, and they like it more, but that's not the case, because the kids probably have even less than the teenagers, and the teens still showed this exaggerated response. So this is telling us that there's something really special about the teenage brain. There's a sharp increase in sensitivity to rewards and novel information from childhood to adolescence, but then there's a sharp decrease from adolescence to adulthood. And that probably has something to do with the fact that the prefrontal cortex is starting to come online as people transition into adulthood and regulating the emotional response to the rewarding information. So what does this all mean for behavior and for your everyday life? Well, there are a few things. From my perspective, this is a really exciting time to study the teenage brain. Although scientists have made significant progress in understanding what makes the teenage brain unique, we still have a lot to learn. For instance, we're just now starting to appreciate that this sensitivity in the brain to rewards and to emotions might lead teenagers to make poor choices sometimes, but it also presents an excellent opportunity to seek out new adventures, to meet new people, and to confront interesting challenges in ways that people don't typically do later in life. And I predict that as we continue to conduct more of this research, we will learn how to take advantage of the sensitivity of the brain during adolescence to generate new ideas and to promote creative thinking. There's a lot that we can and will learn from the adolescent brain and from adolescents in general in the coming decade. And perhaps we'll learn that Taking risks and seeking out rewards are really adaptive behaviors in many contexts that actually lead to really good decisions and that help individuals navigate the often challenging and intimidating transition from childhood to adulthood. So with that, I encourage you to savor the excitability of your teenage brain and to enjoy all the new people you meet and all the adventures you take. Thank you.
Hey, that's straight fire right there, man. I'm gonna have to double up on that one and make a phone call to you, Eric.
Okay, man.
I
Okay.
got a couple questions.
Okay, well, let's take a bit, right, just to decompress that, and let's discuss what we just listened to, and we'll go on from there real quick. Anybody got some comments? Let's go at it.
Okay, I know my wife Carrie, she's real big into social work and stuff like that, right? So,
Okay.
I think that rings a chime with her. But for me, I wrote down 15 years ago, and they discovered that the brain changes every day. My question is for you and Carrie, for Eric and Carrie. What is the clinical age of adolescence, and is the clinical age the same across the board, considered the same across the board when you're dealing with certain aspects of life?
All right, Carrie, you want to do that one first?
No, you go ahead, Eric. I'm really just, I'm trying to do something else, but I'm listening.
Okay,
That ain't gonna do, Carrie. That ain't gonna do.
The adolescent ages are right around between prepubescent through puberty. So let's say from 10 to 19.
10 to 19.
Yeah. So they look at that like before puberty and years following puberty.
Okay, that's a good answer.
Mm-hmm.
So the other question is, hold on, let me write that down. Puberty.
Prepubescent and then puberty, yes, through puberty. Then after that, it'll be right into adulthood.
Okay. So my other question is dealing with other aspects of life, like you do with the kids, their emotions, their thoughts, their experiences, their ambitions, their growth spurts or decreasing in their growth. Is that adolescent age still the same? Would you apply that adolescent age still the same, or is that even a worthy question? To me, it's a worthy question.
Okay, I think you're asking if adolescent age has something to do with physiological and physical development. I mean, are you asking how much development happens in that time frame?
Explain that. Explain that.
Explain. Okay, explain what?
Explain your questioning of that. So just explain that right there. So my answer would be yes.
All right. So I'm assuming that you're asking if does the body physically and physiologically change along with the mind within that time frame? And the question is yes.
Yes. The answer is yes. Yes.
I'm sorry. The answer is yes. Yes.
Okay.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
But ain't it also true that you have a lot of smarter kids and more developed individuals and that's well documented. So how is that possible that they just have this level of age to it? How can you put an age limit to maturity in a person?
That's just general, but in most cases, your environment stimulates your intellect. In most cases, you do have some people, rare forms of people kids can recite things or play the piano when they're 2 and never been played, but that's very, very rare. But for the general public, we're talking environmental affects the mental. Environmental affects and develops or chooses not to develop or the mental. So that makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Right, that really answered my question at least, but I don't know if it answered Prince.
So is that in do they have this because I saw this clipping this movie. I didn't see all of it, but I tasted a little bit of it, and I'd already watched it before though. And I on the urban aspect of it, I'll say that it seemed like it was a little bit more is it because of the environment? I guess I don't know. I don't want to be unpolitically correct. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So you did mention that, the environment does have the effect on it, but, to me, my question was really self-explanatory, but I just wanted a clinical view because me and Carrie have different views on things, and she's really administrative, and I know you are too, Eric, too. So I was just thinking outside the box a little bit.
Okay, that's fine. So if there's not any more questions or about,
Yeah, I got one.
Okay.
Okay, so my question is this: what age is it that do you think? Let me just say this first. Here in Florida, I live in Florida.
Okay.
All right, so here in Florida, they're taking the Black African history out of the schools, right? Right.
Yes.
So now my question to you is, what age is the age to start teaching your children their history? What age to you would be appropriate to begin teaching them their history as we as we study on?
Teaching them their history is like teaching them their body. So you teaching them the parts of their body as soon as they can start talking and describe them. So as soon as they can say finger, you teach them finger. As soon as they can say Africa, you teach them Africa. As soon as you start teaching right away. You start right away. As soon as you identify the belly button, you identify the continent too. So that means you got visual aids to go in, because you, first of all, if you're doing it, man, you're reading before they can understand what you're saying. They hear them words, you repeat, they hear this talk in the womb. They supposed to be hearing you talk about this in the womb. So when they hear them certain vibrations and sounds as they see you, then it's gonna sound familiar to them. So there's no earlier time than when they're in the womb. That's the time when they can start hearing and feeling vibrations.
But I'm saying at that, but see, what I've seen with that, man, was at a certain point in their life, they come to reject what you have pushed. They just want to reject it, man. They don't want nothing to do with it. They don't want to carry it on. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is so like because I don't want to force this on my children, man, but this is something that they have to know, man. And so I think that, man, that's real important. But I ain't nothing.
What they learning in school ain't got nothing to do with nothing.
No, because they're not gonna teach them their history in school, man. They're not gonna do it, man. They're done with that at this point in American history or American history of America. Now at this point they are literally ashamed of their history. See, it was a time when they was really, really proud of it, right?
And what they do that test in? Who they do that test on? Did they go to urban neighborhoods and all that? Like, did they just do it like, seriously, like this mental test, mind and growth and all that? Because, Black folks grow up with a lot of PTSD, issues. Like I was having a discussion with this dude of mine, we roommates, and I was telling him, like, they grew up with different rules. I remember my dad talking to me about police and how to get home and how to act with them and all that. Like, I don't know, the maturity level is just totally different in different areas. And I feel like, that's how I feel about it. Like, I want to know who they did these tests on. That's all.
Can I chime in?
Go ahead, Eli.
Say it's never too early to start teaching.
That's right. Was that on you?
I feel like
Redundancy.
That's Eric's wife talking.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, that's all good. That's all good. Welcome to you, Queen. Go ahead, Eli.
She just walked out, but yeah, I'll let her know.
Yeah, for sure, man. She's more than welcome, man. Yeah. We need all the input we can get. Yeah.
Yeah, I like when she chime in like that. That's
But
tight.
They heard you.
Go ahead,
Yeah, they
Eli.
said, thanks for chiming in.
I feel like
They
ultimately,
said they wanted you to, chime in more. Feel free.
yeah,
All right, go ahead,
abundance.
Eli.
But I feel like ultimately, it doesn't matter where you from or what race of being you are, because our brains are generally the same, or they develop the same, like the lady was saying. So whether you come from a hard, stricken environment or an environment where you have everything that a person would want, you know what I'm saying? The brain's still gonna develop the same. It's just different experiences within
Correct.
those. So
Correct.
those brains would have different views with saying, like, I feel as though kids, like a lot of times we have choices. And like the lady was saying again, she was saying that even though they do make bad choices, they still are willing to learn, they willing to go with the thrill, which is very true, because it's a lot of times where I can remember when I was a teenager, where I was doing things I knew was wrong, but I was only doing it for the thrill. I was only doing it for a kick out of it, you know what I'm saying? And that just helped me realize how my brain has developed. Like, so I think even if you are teaching your children and they act like they don't want to know or learn or whatever, it's still gonna resonate with them, and that seed gonna be there, still be there. It's gonna grow. You know, whether they learn
Exactly.
right then or later on down the road. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So
I'm
yeah,
sure
I mean,
that's real. That's real.
Hey,
That's
because what I'm saying, because my point was this. My point was because you see a lot of Christian children that was pushed into the church, all from the cradle to they able to leave home, right? Right. And as soon as they are able to say no to the church or going to church or participating, hey man, they leave it completely alone, because it had been shoved down their throat all their life. And I'm just saying is there, I mean, I understand balance because we study by eye, right? So I understand
you
balance.
going in on revolution in there every time now. All right, we get
No,
your
no,
point.
I'm saying, but because
Down with him, down with Jesus.
no. I would just use that as an example because my wife is one of them. She was in the church for a long time, man, and then as soon as she was able to say no, hey, it was a wrap, man. The church didn't stand a chance, right? And so but you're right, because she still knows that Bible. So y'all absolutely correct. She still knows that Bible, and she can tell you.
a
She can go
psychological
up and down. She can tell you.
Hold on, one at a time. One at a time.
Oh, go ahead.
church is very psychological.
Go ahead. Eli is on a delay, so go ahead.
I
I can dig it. All
was
right,
saying
so
church is very psychological, like, because I let church go on because
Hey, you breaking up, Eli? You breaking up, King? We ain't heard nothing you said, King. Nothing. You got to start all over. Yeah, you still breaking up, King. We hear you trying. Say something. No, you You in and
y'all
out.
hear me now?
There you go. We hear you now. Say something. Say something again.
All right, y'all go ahead.
No,
No,
go ahead. We
there
can
you
hear you
go.
clear
There you go. We
right
can hear
there.
you now. Go ahead. Right there.
All right, well, I was just saying that church is very psychological. It's like when you go to church, you get a lot of feeling for a reason. And that's because it's because of the environment, it's because of what's being practiced. You know what I'm saying? So like letting church go for me was like easy because I'm not the type of person to be around.
Hold on, that's me. Hold on.
Hey,
Breaking
mute.
up.
Somebody got to mute.
All right. There you go.
Okay. Go ahead, Eli.
That was my bad. I'm sorry.
Yeah, y'all go ahead. My feed acting up.
No, your feed was your
My
feed was
feed
good,
acting up.
man. I just interrupted with my computer. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I say all of it's psychological and all of that, but I still say it's more of an environment, Eli. Like you want to say that you can have the same things, or I can grow up in the hood in Fifth Ward, and you can grow up in the suburbs in Hollywood, and man, you're gonna develop the same brain cells and all that. Everything gonna develop the same. I don't truly believe that. I don't think that's true at all. I believe like slavery. I like with black folks, we got a PTSD thing going on. We white folks don't grow up like that. They ain't worried about too much like we worried about. I'm gonna keep it 100. It ain't got nothing to do with race. I'm just telling you, when it comes to the fact of
this is I'm going my fault.
Your mind development, and I understand what you're saying, King James. I truly do. But we talking about development here, and even when you have that development, that's a lot. It's going to be some changes. It's going to be some differentiation amongst each other's brains. Like it was a part in Django where he took the skull and he examined the skull. And I researched into that.
It's gonna be a whole lot of differences. It'll be a whole lot of differences, King.
Oh,
I mean, a whole lot of different ways of thinking.
What we're focusing on is not yet the experiences that the individual brain can have and which can affect them either positively or negatively. What we're talking about is the development of the brain in itself, the natural healthy brain. So don't take out the experiences out first and base it on, let's start first with the needs of an infant. I don't care what part of the planet you're born on. You will need certain things as an infant. You will need food, water, shelter, protection, and you need an environment that's conducive to your survival. That means you'll need others because as we all know, we're not born prepared to take on this world. We need other humans or other people in a society that is going to prepare us for the world that we are in. So with that said,
but hold on, can I know, King James? I ain't mean to interrupt you. You say the world that we in, but it's all about the new powers that the world we in.
No.
Now.
We're not on the new powers yet. We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
I'm not talking about that. You said with the world we in. No, I understand what you're saying, but you said the world we in people to deal with the world that we in. Like, if it was
your natural environment, whether that be in a Western Africa, whether that be in the mountains of Uganda, it doesn't matter. Wherever you are, you're gonna have these certain. Before you know about nuclear energy or anything else, you're gonna have certain needs met, and those needs are met by the society you were born into. Period. About nothing else. That's that first. So when the society is in its proper functioning way, then there are certain things that will be given to the child, period. Food, shelter, water, air is there for all of us, and information. That's first. Now, there's no difference between where you're born at that point. But here's the thing. External forces or external stimulus are the things that affect our mental growth or our mental absence of growth. So when we are in a place where the environment is healthy, as you can look and search in nature and see examples of this, when the environment is healthy, we have boys and girls being taught roles and responsibilities of people in that community. And all of them will have responsibilities. The boys are learning from the older boys and the men. The men will work together and the men will show the boys how to work together to make things happen. Right. And that's what she was saying, that the brain naturally wants to be independent. The brain naturally wants to do for itself. The brain naturally wants that kind of power to say, I can do it myself. I can tie my own shoe. I can pour my own milk. I can eat my own food. I can use my own spoon. That's it. Okay. That's that first piece. That's that first piece. So if everything is in place, that nature, that protective father, that protective mother, that warm house, all those things in place, that being can focus on learning what it needs to learn, period. Now, if you have things like outside forces that affect that, things that are out of your control, it takes the brain that has the wisdom to keep the brain that doesn't have the wisdom safe. That means relocate. We move to a different location. If it's climate, we got to go and learn how to get some more clothes or something. But these are things that are outside of your power to deal with. So you need someone to help you with those. That's the power of the society. Now, as you get older, well, let me stop there. Are we everybody catching this?
Yeah, I got one more. I got one more question.
You make all day. Not. I get it.
Okay,
Got it.
so, but back to okay. So when we have that nurturing society, things look a lot different from what we're describing and what we see today. We're not living in those nurturing societies, and there's a reason because of that. We'll get to that. But the stages of development, if you just want to use these words, infancy, that's from before you're born, from when you are made, consumed inside to born, infancy. Then you got stage 2, adolescence. That's that stage where, hey, you understand words. You can even begin to make words for yourself, make sentences, and begin to articulate things that you want and desire. But it's still about the power now, because you're still at a young stage. That prefrontal cortex is nowhere near developed. Your brain, again, like she said, develops from the back to the front. So in that second stage of your development, that's that preschool stage. You learning rules now. You learn how to line up in class and take your time and one by one and hold Johnny's hand, all that kind of stuff. You learn those things now. And now you're seeing that when you are able to carry out a task, there's some form of reward. That's the parent, that's the caregiver saying, good job, Johnny. You did a really good job in line. So now that brain remembers that experience. That brain remembers that experience because it's a feel-good experience, right? So you go on, you get to continue to learn. Next step, that's that whole teenage years, or that whole year, the time where you begin to really understand the reason for rules, the reason for relationships. You're okay with saying things like we instead of I. You've come out of that stage where the world is just about you. And now you see yourself as part of a bigger place. We're just talking about brain development, not about outside forces that may affect natural brain development. Okay, because we got a healthy society, that brain is developing. That young boy is seeing older boys and older men working towards keeping their families safe, keeping their communities safe, keeping their communities fed. They are aligning themselves with nature. The adults are teaching them the importance of studying nature, because the adults are teaching them that's where we get a lot of our information. That's where we get a lot of our learning, is through the study of nature. All right. Fourth step, that's that whole adult piece. That's when you've taken all those experiences from those previous steps, putting them into a practice or a system that you're now able to apply to your life and to those around you. And when you and others like you are in that same system, that's when you get growth and development from infancy to adulthood, because you got people along the way, every stage of development, showing and displaying what that means in that society. Any questions?
that's straightforward,
No,
man.
that's
And that's
straightforward. Yeah,
cold
that's
right there. You
powerful
say
right
any
there.
questions, huh? That boy, that powerful right
Yeah,
there. I
that's
see you,
powerful right
King
there.
James.
Yeah, you know, the thing that I took out of, I took a lot out of it, but that relationships, because I deal with individuals too, and in that forum that I deal with people is, you know, we had one of the biggest problems, if not the biggest problem, is dealing with relationships, right?
Yes.
You know, be it the job, be it the home, be it the recreational activities, you know, stuff like that, study activities like this, you know, and stuff like that. They have problems. So what it said was, we grow up and we start to differentiate we instead of I, right? And that the world is a whole bigger place, and then, yeah, so that's really intricate. I'm gonna be able to use that, man.
Yeah, because
Say Lorenzo. Unc over there with his shirt on, acting all professional today, man. I don't know what's going on, bro.
Hey, man, I gotta have evidence of criteria in as many aspects of life as possible.
I know that's right. Toast to you. Toast to you.
Come on, Eric. Hey, you laid it down. Carrie, you got anything you want to say?
Yeah, you know, it's really interesting because I guess my studies and professional life has always really believed the development was really affected by the environment. And I saw it over and over and over again when you take a baby and their needs aren't being met. It affects their development hugely. And then you take, well, one of my sons adopted a little girl from Texas, and this woman had already had a son, like they're a year and a half apart, and he was not given not a whole lot in his environment, whereas my son's daughter knew 2 languages by the time she was 3. She could read. She, can play the piano, does dance. I mean, does all these things.
That's amazing.
And well, right. And so I saw her environment really affected her life. And and also I adopted a little boy who was living with his parents were drug addicts, and they didn't care, and they would find him in dumpsters, trying to find food. That's how he adapted to his environment. So there's even Lo and I, he grew up, if a car was driving by, man, you were checking it out. I grew up never thinking of that stuff ever. So my environment was always felt safe. I never worried about, any of the things that Lo grew up with in his neighborhoods. And it affects that part of development to me, and not necessarily in a good way or a bad way. It's just different. But I understand what you're saying, Eric. This is really interesting, and I appreciate your work that you've put into this.
Thank you.
Let me just jump in real quick. I think what's key, and you can correct me, Eric, through this presentation and your experience, is that, and what Prince was saying too, is regardless of the environment, the brain scientifically and creativity can adapt to whatever it needs to. You can learn different things, on and on and on. So, i.e., we get careers outside of our early expectations, our early drive, and stuff like that. So my idea of what we just heard was, regardless of the environment, which does mold us, the universal brain can still works the same.
Yes, you are a result of that. I am a result of that. we are a result of that. Being descendants of enslaved people, your brain had to adapt to that situation a long time ago. So yes, but well, let me be clear, is that yes, environment shapes your brain. My first description was of the healthy environment and how a healthy environment would allow that healthy brain to discover the natural world in the way in which I believe creation was supposed to happen. When you do have things like enslaved people, for instance, when you do have people who've been enslaved, their natural incubator has been interrupted. Their natural development has been arrested. So further into the conversation, we'll get to how do we address that issue. But the first know what normalcy is, we have to study the normalcy of brain function, brain activity, brain growth. And then we can put in, and then we can see how it's supposed to work, how it functions, and then we can see when it is not nurtured properly, what are the effects? And like you said,
can I say something, Mr. King James? But
yes.
okay, let's just say this. Oh, okay, we got two different environments. We got a brain. How is okay? This is how I'm seeing it. I'm seeing it in two different environments, developing, growing from an infant. It's got to be different. I mean, it's just got to be.
We're saying the same thing. I'm not saying there's no difference.
No, I'm going with even the development part of it. You have the create. I don't know.
No, see, you're missing. I think the point I'm saying is that in a environment where there is natural nurturing and caring in either a rich environment or people don't have money, financially rich, but they have the other nurturing principles in place, you will see brain development and creativity growing in both human beings. But if you are in a stressful, traumatic environment, then yes, it does have an effect on your brain because your brain is going to seek safety and survival before it seeks information to retain. It seeks information to retain to keep it alive, more so than it retains information to sustain a healthy quality of life. If that makes sense. That makes sense.
So let me jump in too, man. So just 2 blocks away from where I grew up. So in school, I can see in hindsight now, in school, I was preoccupied by, I grew up in a safe environment. Nevertheless, there was things going on right on my block, right? And some things inside with my brothers and stuff, but nevertheless, really outside the home. I had a safe environment, but I was still affected and consumed by the environmental stuff that was immediate, right? So in school, I was preoccupied, unconsciously and subconsciously, right? And then there were other kids that also grew up in a safe environment, but they thrived even exteriorly. They were able to present questions, as I can see now, less hostile, less challenging. Like Carrie would stay under the radar, right, and present a question. I'd get, I'd share a little more animated or not even animated, depth oriented, right? I wanted depth and weight, even at that young age. So it's 2 environments, just 2 blocks away.
You wanted to what? Can you say that again? You wanted to what, Unc?
I wanted to, I don't know what I said.
Depth and void.
Depth and weight. Depth
Gotcha.
and weight.
Okay.
I wanted depth and weight where they were more comfortable because they didn't have the environmental effects or even the drive, right? And then so mine was more assertive, right? And then so the less assertive was more acceptable, right? And then it could go under the radar more or be more appreciated or accepted, right? And so I think that that applies to what you were talking about. Nevertheless, the mind is still universally the same.
The human brain, yeah.
Right.
Yes. Homo sapien sapien, yes. Mm-hmm. But it's just those.
I ain't never, King James, I ain't never seen the brain grow. I'm gonna say that. I ain't never seen one grow. I gotta
Yeah,
see one grow.
you won't see one unless you go see a dead person or you'll see on TV because they grow internally. They grow internally. But yeah, it grows from the stem of the spine forward. That's the development. And that's why when you see a touch a baby on top of his head, it's soft at the top. His cranial
Right.
sutures are closed, and those sutures don't close until adulthood, but they're open like this. So
Right.
yeah. So anyway,
That's good stuff.
so let me just say the external factors are where we are because the external factors are leading us in a direction where we're going. External factors. First of all, not having knowledge of past, not having knowledge of cultures that worked, not having knowledge of civilizations that worked, and that's what happened. That's what having our. That's one of the things that having our kids struggle. They don't see themselves in this picture. They don't see themselves in this picture of life. When they go to school and learn about math, science, they may see 1 month of seeing some people that look like them. They don't see themselves in education. They can't put themselves there because it's not taught to put themselves there. It's not delivered a lot of times to put themselves there. A lot of the information that most of our boys need is information about themselves to teach them how to understand the world around them, and how to be socialized. We lack that.
Like teaching them stock markets, teaching them how to invest,
We got to teach them how to be. We got to teach them social manners first, because they ain't gonna learn stock market if they can't respect themselves and others and have a conversation without verbally disrespect. We got to teach them that, because that's where we having problems, and that's what we're starting to see at the earliest age, 6, 7, 8 years old. They're talking back to the teachers. They're talking back to their parents, 9, 10, 11. They come to the juvenile center because they just skipping school, and any authority, they're not being socialized. If past experience for me is that, well, my existence was seeing mom and dad. That was my first image of God and goddess. That was it. Mom and dad, grandma.
So you don't think it starts at home?
That's what I was saying. My first existence was at home, mom and dad. So my reality was seeing a balance, just seeing that my mama gonna softly say, hey, this, that, and the third. And if she gotta say it twice, then my daddy gonna say it, but his voice gonna sound totally different. His vibration can be a little different. And he might bring the heat. But I understood that created that balance that I, as a young male, understood, hey, no,
That's right.
There's rules and regulations here, son. And you don't want to poke the bear. You don't want to do that. No, you don't. You got to pay with your way around here. So you got to follow the instructions given. And you surely don't want to be of disrespect to that woman there. Not that queen, not that wife there. You don't want to do that. So you learn early on what you can and can't do in an environment, but you do it. It's taught in such a way that you understand. And then you see examples. I saw examples of grandma, granddaddy hugging on grandma. I saw those examples. So seeing that, I'm not saying I didn't see arguing and debate and all that kind of shit. Yeah. But for the most part, you saw what you should be doing, what you shouldn't be doing. And you were taught those things.
Why black folks rap when they say they're gonna whoop their kids? That's all I want to know. Why my grandmama they always trying to rap?
Oh no.
Hey, so let me bring someone. Yeah. Hey, so that takes me to my other train of thought. Even in society today, as it was when we was growing up, the difference is that people are working more today, and they have to have supervision for the kids and stuff like that. So even more so. So there's things that were taught at home and expected to be carried out in school, and not so much expected to have this rah-rah about it not being taught in school, right? Because it was taught in mine. Things were taught in mine that weren't taught in school, and the expectation was don't use that as an excuse not to learn and not to be respectable and all these type of things, right? And so today we get, today it's a big difference because both parents are definitely working, we'll just say across the board, the most, and they don't have time to teach the kids, right? They don't take time. right?
Yeah, it's
They don't
take time because
It's
I'm
a
one of
different
those.
word. You know, it's a different word.
say that,
That's
say
all
that
I say.
again, Eric. Say that.
It takes time because again, my experience was watching my mother and father do it, so it came natural for me to do it as well. So with me being grew up that way, it was no problem falling into that the frame of being a parent. I'd already had some foundation of what that commitment looks like. So you had to take time out. So yeah, there were times where taking kids to practice or rehearsals and things like that, as opposed to doing something you may want to do. Yeah, you have to balance your time. But it's there. But you're right, working. But a bigger problem is single parenting.
Correct.
Single
Yeah,
parenting is
Yes,
and
sir.
I was just using that example as across the board, you know, as an example.
yeah,
So single parenting
yeah.
definitely limits the time you can take to
Mhm,
provide your kids, and
mhm.
so thus forward comes the expectation of the school district, the state, the Fed, you know, and so on, you know. So I mean,
Hey,
it
so
makes sense to me.
how does a person
About
learn
time.
this? So
He fell
when
asleep.
when do they like you saying that you know you was raised with mom and dad, big mama and all them, right? But what about the kids that's not, right?
Okay,
What
right.
about
I
the
was
single,
thinking that.
the single, you know, and mostly it's the women with the kids. So it's mostly single women,
Preach, preach.
right? It's mostly
But
single women
but let's
with the,
not leave out the single men that do it too.
no, but we ain't
Right.
gonna leave them out. But what I'm saying is right now
Tell
though,
them
it's
all.
way more single moms than it is single dads,
Without a
single
doubt,
parent dads.
without a
So
doubt.
you know what I mean. So I'm just saying. I mean, you know, that's you know,
Yeah,
how does
yeah,
that
yeah.
work?
So here we go.
Right,
Now
right.
we can look at the single black male problem from different levels. We can look at it from where we can pick a reference point and go from there. We can say the last 20 years, the last 40 years, the last 50 years since slavery left, all those kind of things, or what. But if we look at it historically, we have to look at the relationship piece between the black man and the black woman, and we see how that has evolved or devolved since whenever. So that is in itself is a study piece because
How do you
the
fix it? But how do we fix it? In the times we're in now, King James, in the times we're in right now, how do we fix that?
first of
How
all, it takes information. It takes information to know what you lost and know what you got to find. Second of all, it takes trust. It takes trust and commitment for change. And commitment means that you're not going to give up. You're not going to give up and making a change, seeking the information and sharing the information with others. All right. We know that everybody's not at that point where they're ready to hear anything different from what they've already learned. That's fine. They'll get it in their time. There's enough people already wanting to hear, wanting to learn, wanting to make some dynamic changes in
Come
their
on,
life.
come on.
So we deal with those people who want to hear, want to learn, want to get it.
Sure did.
All we do is have the information for them. So we build relationships. What do we know about relationships? In any relationship, you have to have some key things, trust. But now that us men, we know something different. We can apply my yacht to any relationship we want to be in. If any relationship does not follow the 7 principles of my yacht, there's probably not a relationship you want to be in. So we can take that as a standard of how to build relationships going forward. You meet one, you greet one. We come and talk and we bring these principles to the relationship. Say, hey, this is how I build friendships and relationships. I stand on these principles. Do
All right.
you
What about the ones who don't know about my yacht? Can you
teach
elaborate on
them?
my yacht? I don't know about my
Them.
yacht.
You teach them.
My yacht means teaching.
No, you teach them about the principles of my yacht.
What is my yacht? Elaborate on that. I don't know my yacht.
Okay, well, I could do it now, but I'm gonna have to go on off on that. But there are 42 negative confessions called my yacht. Those confessions are what the 10 commandments were pulled from. Those are confessions that talked about things, principles in which you lived your life. And these principles were carried out by people of the ancient world of Kemet. And it was pretty much guidelines. 42 of them. and probably even more. But it talks about how to conduct your life in society, how to respect other people, how to not take no more than you need. Basic principles, but what the difference in those and the commandments was the commandments were saying, I shall not do this. I shall not do that. My yacht says, no, I don't do those things. I have not done those things. You were taught from early on what societal rules are. And you, when you come before your elders, you can say, hey, I have not done these things. But if you have, Maya also says there is something that you can fix it. You can atone for that. You can come back and say, hey, if I did do this thing, I can come back and fix it and it won't happen again. So Maya says there's some responsibility in your behavior. So again, we teach from that point. But once we start to build those, and the men have to show some patience, have to get in touch with their side, both sides of their brains. All right. We teach.
What you saying? What you saying? Feminine inside, that feminine inside.
There's both sides. You have a masculine and feminine side of your brain.
Hold up, there's enough of that going on.
No,
you ain't got to worry about it though.
That ain't got nothing to do with with a person's sexual preference. It has to do with your creation from man and woman.
Okay.
Let me just pause right there, Eric. These are
Yes, sir. There you go. That's okay, it, right.
Let me read those real quick.
Yeah, you do that. I see you putting me on the spot. Okay.
And then Eric, Prince, I'll make sure you get the 42 laws of Ma'at, and then you can study from there and keep asking questions like you do, man. That's good stuff.
You're supposed to do a presentation on that too, correct? You're supposed
all of it, the whole group.
Okay.
Right. So these are the 7 principles. Ma'at is the ancient system of moral and values that guide throughout that guided thought and behavior in ancient Kemet. It is also found in many other cultures in Africa. But number 1 is truth, based in facts with honesty and integrity. Justice is number 2, a state of fairness and lawful judgment. Number 3, righteousness, a state of consistent good conduct. 4, reciprocity, what goes around comes around. 5, balance, an equal distribution of weight. 6, order, the correct sequence of thought and action. 7, harmony, one accord, a pleasing agreement. Okay, go ahead, Eric. You'll be back on in a minute. Some good questions you're bringing up, Prince, and there's some good points you're bringing out, Jamie. And then Carrie, that was a great, little dissertation of your thoughts. I appreciate that.
All right.
I thought you was gonna do the whole 42 there for a second, huh?
No, man, I'm just giving you the 7 principles. We're gonna do 42. We're gonna do step by step on your ass.
I got you.
Okay. Okay. So where are we? We are good on the stages, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So now, from that, I know we talked about how that affects us. So when Dr. Clark talks about being removed from your natural incubator, and when that happens, many different things happen. You lose your cultural continuity. And that cultural continuity, which attaches you to geography, attaches you to tradition, to culture, and societal norms. Once you're pulled from that, you don't have that to grasp from when you trying to make good decisions, things like that. So what do? You come up with something. And so when we look at behavior, male behavior, when men or boys aren't socialized properly in any environment, they're not socialized by other men, by upstanding men, they become lawless, they become aggressive, uh, and studies have shown more violent and those kind of things. And that's where we are. Our communities are full of a whole lot of kids and not enough fathers, and not enough men in that position willing to do it. And the boys are struggling. You hear it in the rap music. You hear it in everything. They want to talk about how powerful they are. And really, if you go beyond the lyrics, they are fearful. They are afraid because the communities are scary as heck. And when you got 12 and 13-year-olds feeling that they have to carry a gun in order to go to school, that's traumatic. So we got to address what needs to happen in these communities. Why is this happening? Who going to the penitentiaries and leaving these kids behind? And what are they going to the penitentiary for? And so
we all know what that's for with King James. We all know what that's all behind. Like when the drugs got pumped into our hoods and all that, man. We all
I know. So now we got
speaking on that, man. They're gonna shut down Sankofa. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we got work to do. For those who need guidance and direction, we got to be the men to give it to them. Anytime we can. I don't care on the block and the candy store, wherever. We got to be vessels of instruction and direction all the time, and not just the boys. In a safe way, in a way that keeps yourself out of harm's way. We got to educate the young brothers. You know,
how we gonna do it? You know, I hear this all the time. Like I say, I hear it all the time. I just want to know when it's gonna we get together like group wise and decide to make this a
great question. Great question. There's some organization you hear about. You hear like 100 black men in Atlanta, different groups and organizations, and it seems like they put their fund. A lot of frat brothers get together, put their money together, have some scholarships and this, that, and third. So you got grassroots organizations doing stuff, and you got people doing what we're doing, discussing what needs to be done. So the work is happening, you know, at different levels, at different times, but I believe it's happening. I know it's happening. I'm doing the work personally.
I'm down. What we got to do, what I got to do. You know what I'm saying? Holler at me on the DM if you got to. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm saying, I mean, there's got to be that revolutionized. And you know what I'm saying?
But we doing it.
Seriously.
We doing it.
We actually doing it.
We're doing it right now.
What the consistency of Prince is, where's the total unification? And then that's.
Thank you, all.
No. Say that again.
I said thank you.
Yeah, where's the total unification? And that's the part of the brain that we all have that we're talking about, is that we can do our part, we can develop, and we can consistently hope for, not even just hope for, because I can see the change come, right? I can see people, the change being applied, where Prince is, you know, heartfelt, so felt. This thing is it's not there, right? It just keeps falling apart. I keep hearing about it, right? And these kids are continuing to die. I can't even look outside my window and see the kids playing in the park in the park anymore.
Exactly.
Right? Just, right. You see what I'm saying? But the reality is that that's discounting the work that is being done, right? There's an abundance of work being done. Right. And but to add to it is, your question is, and your search is, to me, it seems like is, I'm still looking for that definitive, right? I'm still looking for that definitive. But in the process of that, you're diminishing the work that you are doing, let alone the work that other people are doing. And that is a negative connotation that ripples through the estates, right? You know, throughout the world, right? That's my view.
Yeah, work is being done for sure. Collectively, you are asking how we gonna do that, but here's the thing. Earlier, we talked about people being ripped out of their natural incubator. You got to make people aware that they've been snatched out of the incubator. Hell, some people don't even know they've been snatched out of an incubator. Some people don't even understand. They had a reference point that predates being enslaved. So information is what needs to happen. We need to re-inform people. The cultural memory has been suppressed. So when we wake that culture memory up, it invigorates the mind because now you're able to connect with something that's greater than you that you are a part of. That's the whole thing. Why do you think they push history in American culture? To keep you connected to your culture. John Wayne is the baddest cowboy. He gonna always be the baddest because damn it, that's their culture. So you have to promote your own culture. In order for you to promote your culture, you got to know something about it. You got to have the information. So when you got the information, man, I can sit some teenagers down or some grown brothers down, and they give me 20 minutes, man. I'm on their head, man. I'm on their head. See, because I got the information. I don't got to study with this shit. I studied already. So when I need it, I got it. And that's when you're ready. When you leave your house armed, and I said this early on, I don't leave the crib without that heat and without them books, man.
Talk to him. Talk about quiet, but King James.
Now let me say this here.
So you walk with
let me say something real quick. Now, and I understand that, and I'm with that, man. That's where we supposed to be. But we got so much working against us, man. And one of the main things we got working against us is this thing called religion. That's a separator of people, just like politics is.
It sure is.
So I'm just saying that the reason why we can't reach our people is because they book tell them not to mess with us, not to pay attention to us because we doing the devil's work. See, and so this is what, and so they book tell them this, and so this is where we get to disconnect from our people, man, because they looking at us and going off their Bible instead of looking at us and looking at the information that we putting out. You see what I'm saying? And so when we teaching our Black African history, or when we showing them stuff on Black African history, they're not showing them that, because to them, Black African history started in slavery. And so, and they don't go no farther back than that. And that's where we twisted at. Because if we take them back farther than that, then you know what they gonna find, man. They ain't gonna find nobody but us. And
that was my question, King James. You know, on the DNA part, on the you know, after yearly, years and years and years of development, then you have this strand and this whole process that goes on with your mind that is just transcended down from your ancestors. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean when I'm talking about, like with slavery. So when you keep talking about the development of a mind, it's just like a different development. Like I say, it's hard. It's hard to find on any news broadcast you ever see a Black man shoot or hurt or harm a Caucasian individual. It's like it's DNA'd in our brains to not do that. So when I say development, like you keep saying, I get it, but I just don't see the development being the same. I just really don't. That's what I mean. This is what I mean. Hold on, what I mean.
And nurture. Nature is two things: nature and nurture.
No, exactly. But see, the kings was over there building pyramids, and
you kind of missing it though. You kind of missing it because he's not really talking about what events took place to shape your thinking or your thoughts or the way you view things. He's not talking about that. He's not talking about that. What he's talking about is how a brain receives information.
Correct.
Understand that.
Period.
And with that,
we're not talking about we're not talking about we're not talking about you growing up in the projects and I'm growing up in Beverly Hills and how we are brought up and then how our brains, how our thinking and all that is different. I understand what you're saying, but that's not what he's talking about, King. What he's talking about is how a brain in itself, not just a brain. It ain't come from nowhere, and how it develops.
It's developing. They all develop the same. Developing membranes and all that, but ain't a certain part like with the listen, okay, with a certain part it has to develop differently. The thinking process. So that is a different development. Am I correct? It ain't about the process. I understand what he's saying, but even if growing,
he's talking about before that though, King. He's talking about before all that. He's talking about before all that. Then we can get into that. Then he got into that. right?
Okay, all right.
Look,
he
he got
wants
into
to.
that.
But even
Yeah.
with that, I understand that. But even
And
with
then he
that, I
got
still
into
see.
that and how what shapes and forms it. But before that, he was just showing how the brain itself, all of them develops the same. You can like you put two brains side by side, and they're gonna develop the same, King,
I got what you're
as
saying.
long as they're not. You see what I'm saying? But now, if you put if you're talking about the events that changed the thinking of the brain, he went into that too. So I mean, that's what I'm saying, King. You kind of missed
That
it.
all come in with that. I don't understand that part. Okay, so it's just going to go. So you're saying develop it to a certain level. That's basically what you're saying, right?
So it comes down to the point where you got to develop your brain, right?
Right, but I'm saying, but we're talking about just developing to
adolescence. You have to come out of. We have to come out of that adolescence mind frame of being deep.
That's not what I'm talking about. We're talking about a study, but he's saying is developing of the brain. They all develop the same. So is it to a certain level that he's talking about it being developed? That's what I'm asking.
I can explain it. I can explain it to you. Maybe just say this. Let's take the two brains. Let's say the healthy brain in a healthy environment. Let's say the traumatized brain. Now, maybe you're talking about the traumatized brain. The brain has been traumatized from events that are out of their control. All right, those brains will and do develop. They have developed differently. You've developed, and that's what an example of that is the descendants of slaves here in America. Their brains, because they've been removed from their natural incubator, have developed differently. And so we, in an effort to help alter this brain deficiency, we have to find out what or why the brain is underdeveloped. One of the reasons why is the lack of information. All right. And in many cases, the lack of nurturing the brain. All right. But more so.
That's key right there, right? The lack of nurturing your own damn brain, right? And then if I stay in the adolescent state of growth, where dependency is still rampant, right? Even though we come out of childhood, my actions, and now I'm moving into adulthood, and I have to be the one to assert that teaching and that learning, that growth of the brain. It's up to me, right? It's up to Frank, it's up to Jamie, right? And so,
because I'm trying to understand that. That's all I'm trying to understand is how.
Hold on just a second. So how it differentiates is me, you, any other individual stepping out of the imprisonment, right? The indoctrination, the misleadings, and stepping into actually growing my brain, right? That's what I'm hearing through all the conversation. Go ahead, Eric.
So I think it's fair to let Eric go ahead and go ahead and tell us exactly what he meant.
All right, let Prince get one more thing out. He's bubbling over there.
Yeah, go ahead, Prince.
Because I'm trying to understand this. When you're speaking on the development of a brain, how can you grow a plant without water? How can you grow anything? How does anything grow without being victim of its environment? And without that growth, like you keep saying, okay, they're growing both the same. They're both growing the same. It's the way they grow. Okay, it grows up my spine, I guess, whatever, and then it makes this little bitty knot, and then it starts growing and this and that. So the environment it's in, from the mother nurturing it, being inside the womb, it's developing, and then it's coming out, it's still developing it. You're saying it's got a soft spot on its head, and then from that point, it's still developing. So it's developing from the environment around it. Am I not correct?
No one ever disputed that. There's the only way you're going to develop is with the environment. I described two different environments. There's several different ones. I gave you examples of a healthy, nurturing environment, and I gave an example of an environment that's full of chaos and lack of nurturing. And with those examples, you're going to have two different brains developmentally. There's also research that talks about other forms of trauma that affects the development of the brain, or that can alter the development or the function of the brain. Drug use can alter your brain forever. heavy drug use, especially with opioids, is known to can alter your brain. So there are external factors that can alter your brain temporarily. There are external factors that can alter your brain forever, infinitely. Because it depends on what the stimulus that caused it to be altered is. Social,
including lack of sex. I don't have that, but I'm being real. It's funny, but that's literally one of the studies, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Literally one of the studies.
Yeah, there's some truth, and that has to do with relationships and intimacy, and those kind of things. So yes, that's very true. So even then, and that's another thing too. You got a group of guys who got a web page who talk about hating the pretty girls, and they want to lash out against pretty girls because they feel like the pretty girls never choose them. So you got people with thinking that other people aren't valid because they're not getting no sex from them. So they should be pushed off the earth. So you do have this thinking that can be disturbed from many different factors that causes problems in society and causing problems in your personal lives. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, we have.
And as an adult, it's up to us to nurture that. Right?
We do have responsibility, but as an adult, we still have to remember that we are all connected. We are all extensions of self. So if we don't have information, we seek to our left, to our right, and ask the other brother, other sister, help me in this field. The problem is some of us don't want to admit when we don't know, or some of us don't want to admit when we need help. And that's another problem that goes with trust for us, people of color. We struggle with trusting each other, struggle with trusting folks. So until we address some of those issues and why those things are happening, we'll have what we have.
Right.
Unfortunately, yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Keep going. You got more? Or you at the end?
Oh no, I'm not at the end. No. So if there's not any question just about brain development, because I want to just make sure we all just kind of understand that, because the brain is powerful and the brain is very resilient. Think about the whole slave trade, or think about that whole system. Even after it was over, and people still after that, after being free, were able to seek educations and become doctors, lawyers, parents, attorneys, even through just getting out of, inhumane treatment. So that shows you the power of the brain that's able to be resilient and still be functional. Not saying those people didn't have problems. Yeah, they may have, but as long as you're seeking information, you can sometimes find some answers to some of your problems. And usually a lot of the trauma is based on past experiences. So what we have to do when we see what the trauma was, let's go study the past experience. Because what happened in that past experience, you were dehumanized and demoralized. All right. So once you've been demoralized, you can be influenced and manipulated, because what you're trying to do is you trying to gain favor into the person who demoralized you, because you don't know enough about yourself to say their view of you don't matter, don't count, because it's not based on any truth. But this is to be learned, because coming out of slavery, a lot of us didn't understand nothing about culture or our culture. So we had to take what we had and build from there. That's as
Jamie has a cold video. We have to watch that sometime soon. One of the weeks again. He's got a real cold video that really gives a description of the influx of that deficiency, right? And then what you're saying is we have to look at those traumas. See, we don't take time to look at those traumas as a whole, right?
That's right.
That's still in the mind part of a degradation, right? Why do I want to look at that? Why do I want to feel that? Well, it's imperative to move on, right? And with the strength that we want to move on, what we want to accomplish in life, right? What we want to accomplish as a people, as a society, right? It's imperative to look at those, right?
And we do
it the least, right? Even hearing, So yeah, I have a lot of experience of looking at trauma, right? Looking at, and most of it, and a lot of it self-inflicted, right?
Sure.
Right.
I feel you.
Right.
Yeah. So that in itself, we need to really look at those things. I know for sure it's helped me to understand a lot of different things about human behavior and what happens when a human goes through traumatic events, how that affects them, how that affects their ability to form relationships, build relationships, how that affects trust issues. Now, you're talking about a system that oppress all the people in the country, then you talking about a system that was widespread. So you talk about trauma from household to household to some degree, but people found a way to push that aside and create common goals that they wanted to live by. They created communities, and the men decided to be heads of their households and lead the families in the proper direction. And that was a lot of our communities. Most people's block, especially in my neighborhood, hell, everyone on the block who had families, there was a man and a woman living in that house unless somebody died. Or not saying they stayed that way, somebody passed away, maybe there was a divorce, but people, you saw this as a norm. That's not what we're seeing today as a norm. So for as much as we know it takes two human beings to create a child, we don't see a reflection of that after the child gets here. We don't see a reflection of that at the school board meetings. I don't even see a reflection of that at these juvenile meetings when it's time to decide the fate of the child in the court system. So those are some of the things that we can do to address that, is teach other brothers how to be responsible and show them that there's power in responsibility.
Right.
Yeah, that's it.
Prince, you got something else to add to that? That's not clear? Because he ain't really answered the question you've been answering for weeks, asking for weeks, is what do we do? And I think it's more applicable as you look at what do I do? That's my frame of thinking.
I don't see Prince up there, man. I think Prince, I don't know what happened.
No?
No, I think Prince ain't, he ain't with
Well,
us.
He might be trying to connect right now.
He might be trying to come back in though.
Okay. We can get back to that, but I want to make sure that he's clear, and I think Eric wants to make sure he's clear too.
Yeah. Looks like somebody.
No, that's on.
Oh, okay.
That was me. I keep flipping back to my computer and my phone because on my computer it doesn't show my face, and I don't like not to be seen.
Okay. I'm sure.
So I'm gonna just leave it right here for a minute. Go ahead, Eric.
Go ahead, Eric.
Until Prince gets on again.
Okay. So what we have to do is come up with ideas and programs, workshops to address this epidemic. I know the brothers, I know one of the ways I know rapping is influential. You got, guys who are rapping positive stuff like that, but those guys don't get the big record deals nor the airplay. But if we can find some way to reel in some brothers who are influential in that scene, man, and start spreading some information about, what the young kids need, what messages need to be given to them, that's a way we also can offset. But information is going to be done with information at the earliest stage, and as often as we can, we share information to the young, because they're thirsting for it. You hear it in their talk. If you break down what they're saying, they're talking a lot of garbage because they don't have anything else to talk about. They don't have anything. They searching so deep for understanding of themselves and the world around them. But they want to hear from a man. That's why they look at older boys and follow them into the streets and follow them into picking up guns. If they had men at home teaching them A lot of times that don't happen. That stuff was going on in my hood. But my dad wasn't having that, and I felt protected, and he wasn't gonna have nobody mess with me and my brothers out here, whatever, because he taught us about that too. But when boys feel protected, girls feel protected, they don't act out. They don't seek outside. They don't seek allegiance with people who may be willing to manipulate them because they have people in their lives who are training and teaching them. So they leave the house with confidence and with access to that parent to say, hey, I ran into a rough patch. What do I do? But a lot of these kids don't got that, man. And that's what we're seeing. A lot of them don't have it. And they are struggling.
And I agree with you, man. And you know what? And I think that a lot of the kids are somewhat. I mean, it got to be some kind of, they have to have some kind of embarrassment, man, to even even reach out like that, right? I mean, the kids
true.
nowadays are not gonna just openly reach out, King, because they're gonna think that that's a sign of weakness, and they don't want to be taken as weak.
But see, here's the thing. That's them brothers who feel like that. Those are the ones we reach the parents. We talk to the mamas. We talk to the mamas because the mama's sick of crying and sick of crying and getting these phone calls and worrying. See, so she gonna be able to express that way. What we give her, she'll be able to express in a nurturing way that her child understands. Because if she get it from, and then if she is resounding what we're saying, it makes it's a different kind of impact. So now they hear from mama.
You may get two sides from that, King. You might get one mama that don't want you in her business, and the other mama that needs some help, and will ask for it. So now you feel me? So
I feel you, but I don't waste my time on worrying about who's not gonna get it, because she can either get it now or get it later. That's on her. But if she got the problem and I have some information that can hopefully help modify the behavior or change some problems, that's her choice. The seed planter just does that, plant the seeds. But information, if I'm speaking truth and she can comprehend truth, there'd be no reason why she wouldn't want to apply these principles to her child's life. If she chooses not to, that's her choice. That's a choice. She'll watch the neighbor's child take the information and do well and blossom. That's a choice. And we will get that. You'll get that in any movement trying to make some change. You're gonna get opposition. Sure, let them be opposed, but stand on what you know as truth, and everything else let it fall by the wayside. That's what I say.
Right. But I'm just saying, King, you got a few things that's working. It's always, obstacles, man, and hurdles.
Yeah,
you know
that's
what I
true.
mean? Like I said, you got, especially black moms, they ain't trying to have you in their business, man, because then they gonna feel like next is CPS is coming next.
Well, here's the thing. Go ahead.
That on that part, and then you got some moms that just say, hey, man, I'm fed up. Hey, if you can help, let's get it. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying, especially if you can't reach the kids, then you start, you want to reach the parent.
That's right.
But then you got the parent, if they anything like the damn kid, they ain't, they ain't gonna let you in their business. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's, and that's just, I don't know, man. To me, I mean, and I'm gonna tell you, Eric, I'm all for it, man. This is why we doing what we doing, is to try to reach the younger generation, man, so we can see, change the dynamics, man. Because there's an interview. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but it's a ex-KGB agent that is doing an interview, and he's talking about what Eric was talking about, demoralizing you, and so it destabilizing you. So when you demoralize a people, like he said, and I'm all familiar with that, because I have, like I said, this they go Prince right there, King. So after I get done, Prince, it's on you, man. But I'm just saying, man, like it's an interview that was done, and he's giving you the steps on how, on how you could how we're being demoralized, man, and it's just, and how we have been demoralized, for years. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, King, like, I get what you're saying. Go ahead, Prince. I don't know.
So
Go ahead.
real quick, that was the video I was talking about, and Jamie, maybe you can send that one to Eric, right? To Eric. And then just real quick before our Prince gets on, Carrie, did you have anything that you wanted to say about single parenting or anything like that, about whatever?
I think that Eric really explained it well, that you have the two brains. One is in a nurturing, good environment, the needs are met, and then you have the brain that is not, that is in a toxic environment, and how that they develop it differently. The deal is we as a people need to share this information, just like Eric is doing with the moms of juveniles, the whether they want to accept it or not. Like he said, that seed is planted. They will probably come to a point where they're going to start using that information, because they're going to really feel the need. But that's how we help communities, is by helping them get the information, have access to it. And that's how we change ourselves, by continuing to stay teachable, to gather information. And it all makes sense to me. I hope it does to Prince. I think, at the beginning we were kind of, it was confusing, because it was like, so the brain develops the same whether you're in a bad environment or a good environment. And Eric said no. He was explaining what the development of a brain is in a nurturing, normal environment. Then he went on to express what it's like when you're not in that environment, and that makes sense now to me. So I'm good. Thank you, guys.
Go ahead, Prince.
And thank you, Carrie. I really appreciate that. And I get it too now. I was just more on trying to, I don't know, differentiate the two so much, and I just got lost in the whole. He already explained it. You know what I mean? And I don't know. I get it. I understand. And King James, a little presentation. Let's say that much.
And man, this is what relationship is about, man. We don't have, and he mentioned earlier about the males being patient. When I'm working with other people, man, I have to really practice patience, and I've learned a lot, through interacting with Jamie, through Carrie, through being out in the field, and in my own studies as well. To be patient and give them time for this to manifest in their life, or something similar to manifest, instead of also degrading them by not having instant gratification, right? By myself, the teacher, not having it, I got to remove that instant gratification.
Right.
So Queen Yamaya, let me just read what she said here. She said, just had knee replacement surgery on Thursday, managing pain, trying to keep moving and stay positive. And she wrote some more. So we'll make sure we get her this video. Good. Okay.
Oh yeah, man. That's yeah.
And prayers out to you, Queen.
Yeah. We
She ain't on. She just
we want her to have a speedy recovery though.
Okay, let her know. I'll send my best wishes to her.
Yeah. We'll get that done.
Thank you.
All right, let's carry on.
Okay.
Prince, you good? Prince, you good? So what I was saying,
yes,
let me just
good.
finish this. What I was saying is, the beautiful thing about real relationships is, man, that we can link up and we can talk about it more in depth. And
that's right.
More questions and get more clarity. And then even in that, we have to be more patient, right? Like Jamie, he pretty much answers every time I call. but you know, I can't answer every time, especially if I'm out in the field or something, right? Or out doing something all the time. And so, you know, he's really patient with that. And so we just have to, as individuals, be patient with one another. Also,
You don't never answer
you
my
know,
call.
yeah, I never answer when you call. Quit it. And so, but that's the link, you know, to continued education, you know, is that we have utilized those resources, and those resources are available. So let's get it, Eric.
Make progress. I'm not gonna wait for that to happen.
I can't hear you. You're breaking up a little.
Hello?
There you go.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry, I had to step away for a moment. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, that's fine.
What I miss?
You just missed the most important part of it, man. No, we just dialogue. I was just sharing with Prince that the beautiful thing about relationships is, you know, we do the best we can to be available, but it also has to take places for someone to seek out, you know. So we utilize phone calls, you know, we can carry on, you know, because the reason why I brought that up is because Prince, you know, agreed that he shared that, you know, he agrees, he understands and stuff like that. And all I'm saying is, if you don't, then these are the links, man. You know, we just reach out.
Cool.
So it's on you, Eric. It's on
Okay.
you.
All right. Well, I'm gonna just kind of hit a little bit from Naeem Akbar, because I remember talking to Lorenzo about wanting to share some information. I can first show the book that I like to share from. I could show it, that one, this particular book. So if anybody interested, I'm sure y'all may already have it. If not, can y'all see it?
Yeah, you can see it. I'm taking a picture of it right now.
Okay. I had the pleasure of meeting Naeem Akbar and sitting in on a Black men's think tank that took place on the University Indiana's campus. It was an 8-hour. We did an 8-hour thing where we wrapped, broke off in sessions, had group sessions that came back, and man, it was awesome. And this brother here did the work. He studied a lot of the men that we are aware of in this group, so he's right in line with what we have already been studying, if that makes sense.
Yes.
Right. So he's impactful. So the book itself is just a need. This is something that we want to teach out of any chance we get. And we want to encourage young brothers to have this book in their young libraries, just so they can have just some references to what guidance and direction looks like. So I'm just gonna hit a little bit, but introduction. Let me just hit real quick on this, and I'll just jump through. But it says, much has been written and spoken in recent years regarding the crisis of the African American man. He has been characterized as an endangered species, a victim of genocide, the most vulnerable American, and a variety of other catastrophic descriptions. The rhetoric of this condition is second only to the awesome statistics and painful facts which illustrate the most unfortunate circumstance of Black men in America. No rational person who is aware of these facts could, with any claim to sanity, minimize this situation. That's deep. Can't minimize it. This is serious, y'all. Right. It is vital that we assess the situation of the African American man within an historical and spiritually sound context. That's an introduction. We need
when you bring up historical, where are you talking of his the history coming from?
Your African history from as far back as you can go. All your history that predates you becoming or being turned into a slave. All the history that shows how you molded communities and civilizations, how you are parts of, how you are stripped from communities and civilizations. That's the history. That's the story, not his story. That's the story. So reconnecting with your story allows you to see your life and your direction in a different way. So as he goes on to say, in fact, the crisis of the American male in America began with the landing of the first slave ship in the vicinity of 400 years ago. This crisis has had varying levels of intensity throughout our recent history in North America, interacting with the conquerors from Europe. If we mean by crisis the critical turning point in a situation with specific reference to life-threatening circumstances, then we have been in a perpetual state of crisis.
Wow.
Perpetual. You ain't got out of this state. We're not out of this state. We are surviving in this state of crisis, y'all. So we must identify the crisis, period.
Wow.
And it deals with a lot of times now because the shackles have been removed. The physical shackles have been removed.
Okay, so the physical have. So what about a mental?
There you go.
How do you get those off?
Hey, Eric, put your camera back on.
Okay.
I like to see that passion, man.
Okay, I'll do that. Let me see here. How do I do this? Start video. Okay, I'll stop the share.
There you go.
I can stop the share now. All right, so now what was your question, King Jamie?
I was saying, so so they took the shackles off your ankles and around your neck. So how do you get them off your brain?
Okay, systematically, they didn't remove the shackles, and they didn't remove the shackles off your ankles until they were ensured that your mind was shackled. So once your mind was shackled, you don't need to change anymore. I got your mind now. So what we do, the only way you can do that is to return the person to its original state. So in order to do that, you have to know what the original state is. Now,
that sound like Sankofa right there.
There you go.
That sound like Sankofa.
There you go. Now
sound
we're
like
talking.
180 degrees. Too.
There you go. There you go.
180, baby. 180, baby.
Now, when you go back, what that bird on his shirt is doing is going back to the past. While she nurtures the egg, she's going back to the past to seek and change or understand what happened, good or bad, right? But guess which way them feet are pointing? Forward. Feet are pointing to the future. Right. Because you are preparing for the future. So we go back and seek what has been lost. Seek what has been stolen, seek what has been hidden, and you find out the reasons why. That in itself is your superpower. That's your superpower. The information is what Black Panther is all about. It's all over Africa. All you gotta do is reach your ass down and pick some up and taste it. The information is there. Now, once you get a taste of it, brother, you're done from there. It's all over. So
but again, King James, I'm loving it. I really am. But we are passionate about it. And like I say, man, it's like you said, we're behind the enemy line, baby. And our kids and they friends and friends on top of friends, they loving what they get, and a lot of us loving what they get. And that's the whole thing.
I get you, brother. But another thing too, we have to take our gift. We have to take our gifts and use them. Now, the same swagger you cast can talk a woman out her pants is the same swagger you talk to these young people with and get them to understand what you're saying. Now, the mouthpiece, I ain't gonna deny it. The mouthpiece gotta be cold. When I say cold, you gotta have the information. You gotta, and it needs to flow in such a way that these people understand that you mean what the fuck you saying. You serious about this stuff. You stand on this. So again, Man, look, you give me a room of 20 women and let me start talking to them. I'm not caring if all 20 ain't still there when I finish. I'm worried about those who are there when I'm done. Because those who are there when I'm done were supposed to be there, and their spirit made them stay. I don't have to fight nobody's spirit, man. I'm just bringing mine. And so when these spirits connect, brother, they ain't gonna look. They will come to you and seek you out and say, hey, listen, give me some more of that food. I need some nurturing. I need some of that. So again, once you're ready, you have the information, you can do what Malcolm did. Stand outside of a church where all the congregation in on a box and get them as they coming out. And now you got a congregation outside the church too.
Damn.
He didn't wait till nobody knew who he was. He didn't wait to put no signs up to say, hey, come listen to me. He started talking. And somebody started listening. And once he started talking, they started listening. The sister said, girl, let me tell you about this brother I seen today. Let me tell you, brother brought it. And but here's the thing. You got to be prepared, man, because if your spirit ain't intact, you will take that gift and you'll abuse it. That's what you get. Some of these cats begin to chase the skirts instead of chasing the spirit. And you get sidetracked by that. So you got to be careful with that, because you're going to have vulnerable people coming in your direction saying, hey, I need what you got. My kids need this information. I don't care what my son say. He going to sit down and listen to you talk to him for these next 30 minutes on his Zoom, period. See, so when you got mothers who are committed like that, then you show that you committed and you going to be there for them. You going to be committed to it, to the change. Then they'll stand up and say, no, this brother being committed, I'm going to show him I'm committed to the change, because this is your investment. I don't give a dang what you do. You are not going to have another investment that's worth more than your child. So if you spend more time investing in your hair, your cell phone, or your nails, you're a damn fool. And I ain't wasting that time on that. I'm going to still give you information. You can take it if you want to. You can talk to me before your kids get in the court system, or talk to me after they get there. It's up to you.
That's cold. That's that cold piece right there. You know,
all I'm saying is this: we got to figure out a way to do it in a cool way, like these rap videos and all that.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Because the kids looking for swag, Jack. They looking at this guy. You got to use the language. You got to use something that they can connect to. That's what I'm saying. When you give them information, put them in the picture. So when you describe, let's say, for instance, you are telling the story of, let's say you tell the story about Isis and Horus.
Not Isis and Horus. How about? Go ahead. No.
Anyone, just if you are telling the story about that, you put some of the people that you're talking to, especially the kids,
put it up. Isis and Horus back in Egyptian time, trying to do the thing. You know what I'm saying?
Put those kids. You put the story there, but you put them in the picture. Put them in the story. Take little Johnny. Now, Johnny, since you put Johnny as the character for us, you put Janisha as the character of Isis, and you let them visualize themselves in that position.
I can see that.
Because see, listen, here's the thing. Before Kobe became Kobe, he envisioned Michael Jordan. Somebody put Michael Jordan in front of his face, and so he closed his eyes and saw himself as Mike. But see, this is all I'm saying is when you put these children, when you put them in the picture of their own history, you put them there, then they naturally become connected and they see themselves in it. Bam, you made a connection. It doesn't happen to all of them. Others, you have to charge a different approach because they may be of different age or understanding. That's why meeting people where they are is so important. The information can either be brought up to meet the person's intellect or brought down so they can understand it as a child. That's why it's never too late or never too soon to begin to speak truth, period. Truth is, yeah. So we start from wherever we are, wherever they are. If you catch them at 14, not listening, got a felony because they're carrying guns, then you shape your presentation to address those situations, to address why they carrying the gun, why they feeling it, why do they see enemy in people who look like their own reflection. We talk about those things. Talk about where that came from. Where does this self-hatred come from? Why do you hate something that looks like you? When you look in the mirror, do you see something friendly staring back at you? Ask those questions. And then with information, we can make a connection between what they think they know, and what they must know. Because again, you the teacher, you're not debating with somebody who frontal lobe ain't developed. Please, you ain't wasting no time doing that. You dropping jewels, you dropping science, and you making a connection. You don't waste your time, folks. Or here's another thing too. Your frontal lobe could be closed and developed, but your pineal gland could be calcified. So if your pineal gland calcified, the adult still can't take this information in until they're ready to soften up that hardened pineal gland. That's that third eye they talk about. But anyway,
hey, let me just interject and have actually to give some examples of what they think they know, or what we think we know, and what we must know.
What the children think they know, what most teenagers think they know, is that the world evolves around them, that they can do what they want to do when they want to do it, and there should be no consequences for their behavior. And as an adult, you know that that's not true. You know that there are some problems when that kind of thinking. So you challenge that thinking. You challenge the thinking. You challenge the irrational points of their thinking. You bring out the irrational, right? And so when you do that, you put the ball back in their court. You give them the information on the left and on the right. You say, you weigh these. You tell me which one makes sense to you. And then the kid who says, oh, this is how we get down in the streets. Well, you put it back on them. And what happens now that you're away? What happens if someone takes that same behavior and does something to someone you love and you can't go and protect them? Do you think that that's how things should go? Oh, that better not happen. Well, no. This is what you live by. So you can't control anything other than you. So there you go. You're challenging negative thinking by saying your power is limited, right? But your knowledge can be infinite, right? So we teach, I teach from that perspective, because you are challenged with a whole lot of irrational thinking. Things should be different. You got this, and a lot of people, adults too, are in this fantasy world, and they live there. They live in fantasy. But the best thing for you to do, I don't visit fantasy world for folks. I stay in reality. And then I explain to them why I like reality, why reality works for me, and why a fantasy for me is not effective. Right. And if they choose to get it, they get it. But again, seed planter, keep it moving. Seed planter, keep it moving. Because I got to spend more time nurturing the seeds that are already in the soil than I do worried about if these new seeds are going to take hold or not. You dig? Yeah. Plant them, cover them with the nurturing, that's it. And the nature has to take its course from that point. Yeah, it's up to me now to deal with the little plants that are now breaking through the surface. Those fingerlings are now breaking through it. They're now looking for nutrients. And that's what we give our nutrients to. But we drop them to everybody, but we got to really focus on where we see growth.
And so that weighs, heavy on the hearts of the undisciplined, right? Meaning, I can't. It's hard to gather the masses, right?
It's always been that way. Here's the thing. A lot of folk will sit back and watch if goodness is going to happen. Then they'll join the bandwagon because either they didn't want to do the work themselves or they felt like it was unattainable. But then when they see it happening, hey, man, let me get down. How can I get down? Let me join. I want to be a part. But during those developmental stages, where it's unsure if it's going to work or not, you have a lot of people who are not even willing to try, not even willing to put in that work to see what can happen But yeah, you're gonna always have that. If you waited till everybody did every goddamn thing, you wouldn't have nothing happening. There's never been everybody doing the same thing ever, ever, ever. So to assume that it's supposed to happen because we are all in the same situation together is ludicrous. Because again, like I told you earlier, everybody don't think they in a certain situation. Some folks think ain't nothing wrong. Some folks think it's based on just all everybody's own choices. Yeah, we do, because some behaviors are based on a lot of people's choices. But there are certain unseen factors that are affecting people too. So we teach, we learn. First of all, we learn, we get educated, we get the information, we share the information. We become solidified in what we know, not what we think we know. We solidify in what we know. And we concretize information amongst this circle or our circle. So no matter who you talking to amongst this circle, you're getting the same juice, Jack. It's the same. Period. Because our teachers spoke the same. Anytime you get Naeem Akbar, Dr. Clark, Dr. Ben, Ivan Messertima, those guys are all linked together in their thinking, in their studies, all that. That's it. Their deliveries are different, but they are teaching you from the same, they're teaching the same information. Different aspects of it, historical versus anthropological.
That's right.
But it's still the same information. It's dealing with the same subject. So right. we have to do that. So, well, men, here's the struggle with us as men: confidence. We're not willing to say a lot of times that we need help. They say us men, black men, we don't even go to the doctor as often as we should. We don't want to hear what the doctor gonna tell us. So we are really, and I really don't want to say black men. I think black folks as a whole, we struggle with accepting information from folks who look like us. We are sometimes more willing to accept information from a foreigner or someone who you think has your best interest. And that's been traditional, what's been happening. We don't have many doctors, we don't have many psychologists, sociologists that we can go to learn from, but those that we do have, a lot of us not even picking up their books.
Right.
Not even learning what their aspect is, from bell hooks to Naeem Akbar. We got black sociologists and psychologists dropping science. Yeah. From our perspective, who've done the historical research and applied the historical research to their clinical data and came up with what they've come up with the books.
If you don't mind, Eric, King James, this is how I feel about that. Okay, so I think this. Basically, this is how I feel about it. The way it comes across, like the way you say it to me, it reaches me. I'm touched by the passion, just how much work you put into it. I'm still in the screen. Can you hear me?
Yeah, he can hear you still. He can hear you still. He just stepped away. He got his mic on. Yeah,
I'm here.
Okay, so, all right, so
I just stepped away.
Go ahead, do your thing.
Yeah, I just feel that it's like it comes across as a revolutionary. You know what I'm saying? Like comes across very aggressive to a youth. When like you said, the guy who is out there spitting, giving us knowledge and giving us game. Maybe the way the kids are perceiving it. You understand what I'm saying? It comes across very I don't know, to the point where they're like, oh man, how to the people, man, I ain't trying, you know what I'm saying? Like,
I get what you're saying. Hey, hold on. Keep that thought. Keep speaking. I got to help my wife with something real quick. But I'll respond to that when I get back, okay?
Okay, go ahead.
All right.
I just feel like it just, to everyone else listening, I just feel like it just.
He can still hear you though.
Okay, comes across very revolutionary and it feels very aggressive. So like when I hear Malcolm X, I've seen the movie multiple times. It touched me, it moves me. I'm ready to get up and do my thing. But to a young person who it would be surprising to, again, I feel if they would bring it in a different manner, in a different way, it to me it's like it's too much at one time. Like this whole movement with this transgender stuff and all that. It's too much at one time. So when you come across like that, you got the hat on and he's sitting up there, tie on, and y'all ain't lit brothers and sisters. It's just I just feel like that's why they're not really grasping it the way they should. They grasp these kids out here loving Black Panther. You know what I'm saying?
But see, that's why he
They
said
think
that
it's
we have
really
to
a
find a
Wakanda.
way to reach them. That's why he said that we
Right,
got to
right,
find
right, right, right,
strategic
right.
ways to reach them. You know what I'm
Right, and
saying?
that's
Like
what I'm
whatever
saying. But
they in, go ahead.
yeah, but he came across like, we got people out here spitting knowledge and dropping science, but they ain't dropping the science to the point where the kids gonna pay attention to it. Like I say, we on this channel right here, we Gucci with it. You know what I'm saying? We loving it. We like, oh yeah, yeah, this is powerful, this is moving, this is information. I'm downloading it as he's speaking, but these kids, man, these young youths, man, they trying to ride around in a Charger and a Hellcat, man, and skirt around town and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? And it's just the times have changed so vastly, man, that the music, it has to go to a whole, you got to cut out a whole lot, man, before I think
But
that'll
see,
be a,
this is
a
what
real.
this what we doing right now, King. This is exactly what we're doing. This is the see. This is the
No,
reason
brother, I
for.
don't know.
This is the reason for Eric James. This is a reason for Unc or Lorenzo Artister, right? Or Jamie Genia or Prince Cat or Cassius Prince, right? Right? So I'm just saying, or Carrie, Queen Carrie, right? There's a reason why we're here, man. There's a reason why we're doing this. We're doing this for
I got you.
these same kids that Eric is talking about. These are the same kids that we trying to reach because we trying to stop them from walking past each other, looking at each other like they're the enemy when that's your brother or that's your sister, right? You can't be running around here looking, mean mugging and mad dogging cats. You know what I'm saying? And listen, man, this is your, these is your
I get
brothers,
you. I
these is
get
your
it. I get
sisters,
it. I get
So
it.
that's, it's just, yeah, I
So
get it. Yeah.
let me give a personal example that just
Okay,
recently happened. Yeah, a personal example that just recently happened, and then I want to ask Prince a question. So I go to the grocery store, and there's a security guard, man, a brother, and he would, I throw it up to him, peace, King, have a good day, King, all those good things, right? And he would never respond, right? And then he peeped
Right.
a pair of my shoes one time, right? And that opened up dialogue, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I stood there and I kicked it with him for a minute, right? I didn't give him
Mm-hmm.
that cold shoulder, like "fuck you, nigga." You didn't
Right.
respond
Right.
the first time, right? Because I kept
Right.
looking for ways to get through, right? I purposely kept looking for ways to get through, and it finally happened.
Wow.
And at that time, I utilized that moment. I didn't run away from it, I just I utilized that time to fill him up with as much Sankofa information, right? I mean,
No,
history
that's
from the
right.
past, right? And he was still
Yeah.
locked in my shoes, right? But he did grasp some of it, right? I know he grasped some of
Right.
it, right? And so, to finding different ways to Jamie has really helped me out with that. Carrie has helped me out with that. Eric has helped me out with that. You've helped me out with that because we try to
I got
feed you,
you.
man. We try to feed
Yeah.
you, right? Because
Oh
and you
yeah.
feed us, right? And so my question to you is, what part? Because I think I heard you say Eric was describing, but it seems aggressive. Am I right?
Right. 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 Right.
What
Right. Yes,
part are
sir.
you talking about? It seems aggressive that because this is what I think. This is what I think, but that doesn't have to be true, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when he was talking about the seeds being planted, and I can't spend my time on these kids that don't want it right then, right? I have to nurture the ones that has been watered and it's been and it's sprouting, right? So you
Right.
tell
Right.
me what you were talking about, what you were referring to in regards to Eric's perceived your perceived aggression of assertion of Eric's
Okay.
presentation.
So I wasn't saying King I wasn't saying King James presentation was aggressive. I was just merely stating the fact that when you have these other brothers who do
I
it.
heard that.
They come across very hardcore. Like I'll give you an example. I'm in New York one time, Syracuse, New York, and I'm walking down the street, and you had this Israel. I guess he
Hebrew
was
Israelite.
a yes, sir. And I mean, man, he kicked knowledge to me. I mean, but he kicked it so hard, he knocked me across the street. He was like, if I don't show up, I ain't black enough. You ain't man. I was just, it was so aggressive that I was like, man, I ain't going up in there. You know what I'm saying? I didn't want to go because he was so aggressive. Like I was like, man, these brothers in here getting ready to do something. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I've experienced some brothers like that, man. And to me, that seems to be their style and to be forceful and all that. That does not equate into knowledge or information or equate into this going to sink in. Assertive. I think you must be assertive. I think when you're assertive and assure, then the audience does not contemplate if you know what the hell you're talking about or not. If you have a lot of ums and questions and skipping over things, then you lose confidence in your listener. So it takes a takes a level of assertion and confidence to present information in a way that the person feels comfortable listening and also feel comfortable knowing that if this person can articulate this thought or this idea, then I can learn to do the same. So that, I think that's part, but part
You
of
come across a very gentle giant. That's how I get with you. Like you better listen. You know what I'm saying? Like me
well,
and
I
my
mean,
teacher,
man,
you
I
might me
don't
and
know.
my
It
teacher
might
listen to
be.
bias. You know.
Well, I never been to the military, but I know like my uncles, my grandfather, people like that, come from a military background. So I don't know, it's just how they raised or gave directions or that kind of thing with the expectation that they were clear, they were concise, and they were succinct. And they expected shit to get done.
That's how you come across. You come across very
Yeah.
that. But you grasp my attention from the passion and just the softness too. The way you speak on it. So that's why I'm like, man, brother, know what he's talking about. You don't be fumbling, but you stay to the point and but when you get to the point where you're like, yo, you ain't paying attention, listen to what I'm saying.
Yeah, and
I like that too. So
what Eric just really clarified, and I learned in speech and communications was, see, and I just did it myself. Being really confident, man, alleviates, is exempt of utilizing ums and pauses and stuff like that, right? Because you're confident in what you're sharing and saying, right?
That's true. That's very true.
a hell of a presentation, King James. I really
He ain't done yet. He
Hey,
ain't
hey,
done
but
yet.
hold on. But
no, I'm just giving him props.
unless you are
He's just a hell of
Dr. Reggie, that's on the House of Consciousness, because Dr. Reggie, he'll hit you with the and then he'll smash it out on you.
Well, and Jamie, you do it too. But I've learned. I already know what you're talking about. Just lean back, Unc, and let it flow, right? So
Yeah.
that isn't across the board. But typically, when people are saying ums and putting those in there, they're not really as confident, right? That's just like we're talking about the brain, right? The function of the brain across the board, right? The environment and stuff, articulate some, bring some verbal depictions out, right? But a person can still know what they're talking about, right? But the uncomfortability, right? And so that brain function, the brain is going to function. It has the capability to function and get past all of this stuff, man, right? And to achieve what we're looking for. So my question is still going to be, what did you at the end, Prince? What did you glean from this in contrast to your view of nobody's? We're not doing anything, and then later on, I would just want to hear what Jamie gleaned from this conversation and in respects to his family and his two kids, man, or all his kids. But go ahead, Eric. Unless Jamie got something to say or Carrie.
Okay.
No,
What
go ahead.
What was the last thing we mentioned?
think you was talking about
All right, so we left off with Naeem talking about, that was just the introduction.
Yeah, with that book. With the book.
Yeah, Naeem, he goes into the stages, but what's beautiful is about how he describes the process of transformation. Now, if you want, I can read this, or I can just kind of go through the stage. But I think it's just the way he does it is probably very good. You know, it's up to y'all.
what do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Yeah, dude.
I like to describe it. I like for him to read it.
It's your presentation, King. So
let me read it to you. The process of transformation. The ancient scholars of classical African civilization identified the nature of the human being as one in a continuous state of evolution or ongoing development. This evolution or continuous transformation is not unlike what is seen as happening in all aspects of nature all of the time.
Read that last sentence one more time.
It says, this evolution or continuous transformation is not unlike what is seen as happening in all aspects of nature,
right,
all of the time. Okay, a high pressure air mass under the correct circumstances transforms into a storm, a tornado, or even perhaps a hurricane. Okay, transform into a storm, a tornado, or even perhaps a hurricane. Winds moving at certain velocities collide with air of certain temperatures will be transformed into even another type of storm, or maybe will be blown away into nothingness. We know that a worm-like creature that crawls on plants in the form of a leaf-eating caterpillar in the appointed time and under the proper conditions will spin a cocoon, confine itself, and will eventually be transformed from a slimy, hairy, crawling life form and emerge as a beautiful and colorful creature capable of flying with celestial beauty. He described the transformation as such, and to also say that you can look at that and apply that to human transformation. Transformation can be seen in all parts of the natural world around us, and it is also a characteristic of human beings as well. The distinction between the caterpillar and the human is that of the caterpillar is that if the caterpillar does not undergo its transformation into a butterfly, it will die in the form of a worm. It is programmed to become its completed self or meet an untimely death. Haha. The difference with the human being is that he can live in his worm-like form and die in that form, excuse me, with no evidence of any greater possibility. So that's when I went back to say, you got some folks who don't know that they're in the situation that they're in. They just surviving. Every day is a day of survival. So in this, he goes on to say, humans never have to become fully human and can live a life for many years, and neither he nor others, he nor other incompletely formed worm-like humans will ever know that they did not become completed human beings. God, dog doesn't.
No.
Come on. He said, you won't even know. You won't even have a clue. You would think you're a grown man, although the things around you say different, but you'll be thinking you are. Because what are some of them signs we'll see? Like I said, he grown, but you can tell now you playing with this stuff.
Hey, this reminds me of something. This reminds me of something, man. Like I had this class,
cold.
right?
Cold, baby.
Yeah, because listen how cool. Yeah, that was so cold. Because that's just reminded me of this class I had took, right? And what one of the questions was, it had, I think it was three questions. It was are you a man, right? Who told you you were a man, right? And what makes you a man, right?
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
So listen.
Hey, hold up, Jamie. Hold up. Run them three by me again.
So it was
Are
you a man? Who told you you were a man? And when did you become a man? Right? Right? So now, okay, so then you were supposed to answer those questions, right? Now you got a week to answer those questions, you know, answer those questions truthfully, right? And then when you come back and everybody read off, like, you know, saying everybody read off their answers, like, you know what I'm saying, what is a man? And they, you know, a man does this, this, and this, and this. Who told you was a man? Such told me I was a man. Whoa, 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 whoa. And when did you become a man? I became a man when such. But then you go back to what is a man, right? And then you have to ask them now, which one of them that you described in there that you have literally and actually truthfully done? And 9 times out of 10, King, they have done none of them. That they listed themselves and what they perceive to be what a man is, right? And this is what, you know, and then when, you know,
where did you fall in that category?
that was a cold exercise, right? Well, I seen it from the beginning. A lot of cats didn't see it, right? And I was like, God damn. So I was like, I was one of those ones that had listed what I thought a man was, but yeah, I hadn't hit on not even half of what I had listed. You feel me? You know what I'm saying? And so that was the exercise to where you was pretty much telling on your goddamn self, you know?
Right.
And so that kind of reminded me of what Eric just said, you know, that just kind of related to me. That's all. Yeah. Go ahead.
That's cold right there, though.
That's cold, man. But it gets worse, brother. It gets worse.
Let's get it.
Because now we were just describing how you, an individual, can be around under other individuals, and none of them could be living their full potential. That's what it's all about. But now it gets worse. We can live and die and raise other worm-like humans for generations and never discover our true humanity. In fact, humans actually can recognize the potential in the human makeup, and with their free will can choose not to become a butterfly human. So that's almost like, no, that's not. That's almost like you know, or you have an idea of what your potential, you've been given examples of what your potential is, but you still say, oh no, that can't happen. Oh no, man, they ain't gonna help me do that. I ain't gonna be able to get that. So this is describing us.
Put your camera back on there.
Oh, my fault.
It's all good.
Yeah, this is describing what we see in our society. Man, he says entire civilizations can boast about their inhumanity while observing the true possibilities of being human by observing other fully developed humans. As the famous English writer William Shakespeare declared in one of his famous plays, to be or not to be, that is the question. So he said entire cultures boast about their inhumanity while observing the true possibilities of being human by observing other fully developed people. Wow. Now, wow.
Yeah, that's cold right there.
Yeah.
Hey, Prince.
That's a heat check.
Hey, Prince. Hey, talk to him, Prince, for a second, man. Excuse me for a second.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Prince.
I do apologize. I do apologize, everybody, man. But I got some work I got to get done. I'm hating to get off of here. I really am, because this discussion has just got me going. But man, I wish y'all was on here a little bit longer, man. I definitely would jump back on, but I got about 12 hours of work on computer I got to do for this new job, man. So
cool.
I want to send out my blessings to y'all, man. And like I said again, Eric, have a presentation, man.
All right, brother.
Yeah, and peace to them all. And Jamie, man, I love y'all. Carrie, hey, I will see y'all next Sunday. All right.
Tell me what you got from this before you go.
What I got from it was To definitely be patient, to get some understanding before you jump to conclusion. I know that much. And that we got to figure something out with these kids, and it takes a small rock and move them out. Put it like that. A little pebble can make some things happen if you roll it down in here. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like if we just keep pushing it, and I did was really giving up on it and felt like there's not enough going on, but one voice can move a little bit and more move and then more and more and more, and you got a whole crowd like King James said. So um, that's what I get from it, man. I think it was a hell of a presentation. It taught me a lot, man. It taught me a lot. So,
Hey, thank you, man. You know we love you, King.
and I love y'all too, man. St. Copa, 180 forever, baby, forever.
Right. We'll be talking during the week, man.
All right, peace and love.
Peace,
All right,
King.
brother. Stay up.
Send me. He's gone. All right, Eric. That's
All
good
right.
stuff, man. Hey, that's a heat check right there, man.
Yeah. That's deep, man. And so we understand that. And he said the point of the discussion is to let us all know we have the potential. But what does he say it takes? Knowledge and choice are the keys. Since unlike the insect that has its butterfly potential automatically programmed into its nature or into its DNA, we must be taught and then select to become the full human, period. The human being is transformed by his thinking and not by his diet and his physical environment, as is the case with the caterpillar that becomes a butterfly or simply does. The lesson of human transformation must be learned, and our power for self-determination must be applied in order for us to become the fully developed human being we were born to become. So you already had it in your genetic DNA to be great. You've already been shaped if you believe that you develop into humans, evolution already tackled that problem with the ability to think and problem solve and make good choices. Your brain is already equipped with the ability to do it. It just needs to know how. You're not like the caterpillar, or you're not like the anaconda I believe the anaconda has live young. Well, once she have those babies, or even if she lays the eggs, some snakes walk away from the eggs. Turtles walk away from the eggs, they go back to the sea, never ever to see them children again. Those turtles, for instance, born underground, will work their way up to the sand and know already DNA, in their DNA, GPS system already forces and directs them to the ocean.
Hey, so why haven't we? So then why if hey, if we was made in the
Here
image,
we go. Let's get it.
if we was made in the image and the likeness of God, then why ain't it pre-coded in us we wouldn't have we shouldn't have to read the Bible. It should be pre-coded in us. Law and it should be pre-coded in us, the stories of the Bible.
Here's the thing. That's a great question, but here's the thing. Because human existence and human experiences are too great to probably fit in the brain because you've been living on this planet for so long. You talk about millions of years of experiences. The Bible was a very poor effort at capturing that experience. Actually, it did no justice in capturing that experience. So that's one reason why we are afflicted in the way that we are, because we had not been given the full life experience, the story of the life experience. We had cast out a lot of stuff and started based on, remember that map I showed you, started based on that map. We, at the end of all of human development, when this story came about. So that right there confuses people. But naturally, or the natural is within us. But when we are taken out of your natural incubator, that even something as simple as being outside barefoot in the grass on the ground, not on no concrete, not on no pavement, but on the earth. Doing natural things like that keep you, and these folks got a name for it now. They call it grounding. Some shit we've been doing forever. Some shit that was a necessity. But the reason why it's pre-coded in our DNA, but it's not activated because we don't do the things that we need. We think it's all about taking in information from words and all that kind of stuff. No, it's experiences too. It's experiences. It's being in nature. It's being your foot being planted dead in the ground, in the sand, in the dirt, on the earth. You standing underneath the sun, taking in them rays. That is all part of life experience. That is all part of you learning because, man, I wish I should have showed you that one too. I got so much stuff, but Nova has one.
Pause for just a second. That boy said, I got so much stuff and I got so much stuff going through my head.
Yeah, really, really. But Nova has one that talks about the brain and how all these electrical things are going on all at the same time, but it's a good description. They show a good description of this happening. But the importance of this is that there's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of information. We have to focus on one particular piece of information at a time to actually be accurate and be effective at anything that we do. If we was able to do all this and then focus, then we'd be superhumans. But and even with our sight, our view is only 10% of the world. Hell, when I'm looking at this screen, I'm looking directly right there. But I see over peripheral is this, peripheral is this. We don't have the view to be able to see. That would confuse the hell out of you.
Right.
Yeah, as a human being. But if you were a fly and your only task was to look for shit and stuff, then yeah, all those eyes would probably help you find shit. But that's all your life is about. But you got a brain that's going to allow you to do some stuff much greater than that fly, Jack. So it's the way your brain processes information, it's the way your ability to take that information and use it and apply it to your life is what makes you great, what makes you godly. That's the only way you even understand the concept of God. Other than that, you are a caterpillar. Listen to somebody teach you about the concept of God, which in your caterpillar state, you don't even have the capacity to understand. So you just taking this and a caterpillar and you walking around with this God concept given to you by somebody who created it after all of humanity was already created, way after. So you got a false information in your false mental state and think you're going to get the truth. Man, come on. Right. It don't work that way. You're not able to, you can't receive it yet.
Right.
You dig? So those things have to be in place first. So now we get back to what we understood was true. What does everything around us need to be? In the sun, in the environment, connected with the environment. Take the shoes off sometime and be still and be quiet and see what that feels. Get close to a tree. These trees are doing things. Learn about what trees are doing. Trees are communicating underground. Their veins communicate. That's why you going to any damn forest. You ain't gonna never see no tree 5 times taller than its neighbor. Never. These folks are nurturing each other. And when one gets sick, they send messages to the other and say, hey, y'all, let's send some nutrients heal this way because that birch over there not feeling too good. Yeah, they didn't know this. I got a documentary on that too. Talks about putting sound, measuring sound from these trees, sending in frequencies to other trees. So once we understand our true connection to this planet, boy, that's going to be powerful. And that's the sleeping giant that no one wants to awake. Because you got everything built in you. You got so much of greatness that those who understand this, there's a market for your stuff. It's called the melanin. You can look it up. They sell the melanin now. They're able to extract melanin from you and sell it.
I see it. I've seen that.
Melanin does a lot of stuff. Melanin does stuff that more than you, if you do research, you probably run across, because for most parts, some things will say they don't really know what melanin does. It has so many benefits that they're still unsure, this, that, and the third. But yeah, in other writings and other scripts, especially medical, they tell you it's very effective. They use melanin in the labs a whole lot to do a whole lot of different things.
Yeah. And we got more, and we the ones got it.
Yeah, yeah. Any mammal that possesses pigmentation or possesses melanin. The lack of melanin, or I mean, even like the polar bear will have some sort of melanin, but it will have it in small doses compared to the grizzly bear. And so anything that's spending a lot of time in the sun, anything that's living closer to those rays that create melanin, or that melanin is needed to protect the sun, are gonna have melanin, have higher concentrations of melanin.
Right.
Yeah. So just knowing those things and knowing how those things affect our body, and just knowing how melanin affects our body, and knowing how foods can help when we understand our knowledge base, our connection to the earth. And when we all put all those things together, then we really have, what people write about when they write about superhumans. Now you be one of them. You the one people write about. Yeah. And so all I'm saying is that when he talk about reaching full potential, what my studies of ancient civilizations is like, God dog, full potential? Really? These jokers was doing this? Come on, man. Come on. So it's amazing when you see what has happened already. That is inspiring. So when we teach the young ones about what they've done, and they can see themselves in something, that in itself is empowering to say what you can and what you must do. That's Sankofa. And so you look at the past, you see what's good, bad, and take all that information and push forward. So now what we must see is our anxious stories being put on the big screen. And that's what's happening. That's what we see now. Now we got Queen Cleopatra, but as it keeps going, you're gonna start seeing in black folks doing these characters, bringing these stories to light, because truth came.
When we gonna see the Haitian Revolution movie? When we
That
gonna
too.
see that movie?
That's
the movie we need. That's the movie we need.
You better believe it's coming. But you probably get some. You know what? Speaking of that, brother, there might be one that kind of speaks to that about your boy. And no, I think that's more of a documentary about your boy. About the one who started the revolution, one of the first brothers. What's his name? Man, what's the Haitian brother who started?
Selassie?
No. He's Ethiopian.
He's African, all right.
Yeah, Ethiopian. Yeah.
Ethiopian.
Yeah, but African, yeah. But anyway, yes, that'll be a good one. That's gonna be a good one.
Hey, that'll be because you know because I'm gonna tell you something, man. Go ahead, Unc. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that because the Haitians was the only ones that kicked them motherfuckers' ass. They the only ones that ever whooped the French ass.
The Haitians didn't play about the revolt because they were very, very active in, because what they didn't do, they probably realized later on, we got to separate these folks when we bring them together. They kept them Haitians together, so they kept their language, Jack, and they had their connection to their spirit, and they said, "Oh no, my man, we're gonna show you how we do it. We gonna take these tools and beat your ass with them. How about that?"
And we gonna use some of this. We gonna use this voodoo. We gonna use this magic, and we gonna use it. You know what I mean? They use that magic. They use them, boy. Hey, them Haitians got down on them, boy. Them folks ain't never seen nothing like it in their life.
Okay, Toussaint L'Ouverture. That's the guy.
Say it again.
Toussaint L'Ouverture. Now that's my French talking now, but his name is I can spell it for you.
Spell it for me.
Toussaint.
Okay. Yeah, I'm familiar with that.
Last name Louver.
Spell it again.
Louverture.
Yeah, my wife knows French too.
Yeah, he was a general, but he was just one of many who spoke out and was very serious about oppression, speaking on stomping out oppression. But yeah.
So he's on. So is that on is that documentary on Prime or
No, look that up. You probably got several versions of it
I'll look it up.
on YouTube. Yeah, that's free. They're free on YouTube. Yeah.
All right, so I want to give you guys this again, man. I watched a few episodes of the African Queens on Netflix.
Okay. Okay.
So, I would really like you guys to peep a couple of those, man, and tell me what you think. I put a post up on Sankofa about it, but
Is that the one they talk about has chef suit?
no, they're talking about in Zynga.
Oh, Zing. Okay, yeah, I saw it. I think I saw a preview of that. I didn't watch it though.
Oh man, it's cold, dude. It's cold.
Okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
you guys, Jamie will know more of the history. You'll know more of the history. I know some of it, but and it was intriguing to me from where I'm at. Right.
Okay.
But,
Yeah, I'm still
keep on going.
Yeah. So I think Jamie was saying want to see these kind of movies, but my point is that you will begin to see those as awareness begins to keep going. My biggest hope is people like Tyler Perry, with the tools. He's got this, the video, the whole what do you call it? Studio.
Right.
He began to bring these stories and this information to light.
Right. He needs to bring that Haitian revolution. He need to make a real Shaka Zulu movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But here's the thing. Yeah. So that's important that with every chance we get, we're able to share information and inspire others and promote change. That's the bottom line. But when you teach about full potential, then you got to try to connect with them in a way that they understand and put them in the picture. Don't make it so far off that the kids can't understand what you're saying. You have to connect them to what you're saying so they can understand the concept that you're trying to, teach.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to make it appealing and you got to make it understandable where they can understand what you're saying.
Correct.
And so you pretty much got to talk their language, but you got to make it appealing, man.
That's true.
But Jamie, don't that resemble how you introduced me to this?
Yeah, it do, man.
Yeah, it don't man. To me, it's dead on point. Not necessarily from a child aspect, but the way that you deliver it and the way the Prince was talking about, how do you deliver that stuff, man? And to me, it's a great resemblance of it.
Yeah.
This aspect that Eric is talking about, that they from the before puberty and into adolescence and then into adulthood. I mean that's a process that Jamie really walked me through, right?
Okay.
Didn't treat me like a child, man, but address my mind took me to a child issues, right? Child applications or childlike mindsets and responses and stuff like that.
Right.
And then move into adolescence, right? And then and I think the church presents that as well, but they just leave out way too much information. And
they're gonna leave you. The church gonna leave you in the child state because they're
gonna leave you in a child state. Exactly.
Yeah.
But they leave you where you are, man. You know what, man? It ain't. That's just see the church. Look, that's it. It's only a book, right? So it's your own imagination, man. Along with what other people, what has been ingrained in you about this religion and doctrine, right? And throughout the years, you know what I'm saying? All that plays a part in it, man.
But see, there's another thing too about we have to understand about the church too. We don't see it because it's different now. But part of the indoctrination was to cut you off business-wise, owning land or anything if you wasn't part of the Christian religion. So you got to understand that too. And you was killed if you wasn't. You was killed. Killed. It's my fault. You was killed. Thank you, baby. We were murdered, man. And I think, that's Constantine, and he did this thing when y'all made the decision. Y'all made the decision to say, no, y'all don't want it. Oh, you don't want it, huh? You don't want it? Oh, okay. Stand over here. Y'all go here. Okay. Right. You're gonna run for your life. But here's the thing. That right there lets you know that anything that was going to be forced on you all all the way up into death was probably nothing that you would want for your damn self. It's probably
No,
you want to need it for yourself.
no,
Somebody
no,
gonna make
no.
it, you gonna make you do this? Are you gonna die? Are this good for you? I know it ain't. No, it ain't. But now we don't see the kind of oppression, Christian based, religion based oppression that people back then were seeing. So those images have been burned into the psyche of those folks, which in turn pass through their DNA onto their next generation. So we don't see that horrendous aspect of Christianity, or we didn't see that nobody running in no towns on horses, burning up cities, and you know what I'm saying, in the name of Christianity, the conquistadors. We didn't see all that, but what we saw was a system that said that in the name of Christianity, here's this system for you. This system is based on our belief in Christianity. That's what we got. So we were affected differently from that piece. So the lock on the mind had been done way before the slave had been freed. The lock on the mind had been so deep on the European that, and they controlled the resources, that it was very simple to and easy to instill it on your subjects and maintain it over subjects that you had power to do anything you wanted to with. So that's why it's easy now to see, for me, it's easy to see how people are willing to accept it and not question it, because at one point, again, the brain knows how to keep you alive. At one point, it was, you knew accept it or die. So you was jumping, you was more Christian than Christ. You kept all of your,
That's right.
Look, and when you were more devout than any of the ones who brought Christianity into existence because of your fear of death. Same thing with Islam. You was more Mohammed than Mohammed.
Sure, right. That's right.
Because it meant death. It wasn't in all cases. They accept this because this is the thing. Not just death, but it means trade. Oh, you ain't got that cross over your door? Man, we ain't spending no money with you. Your money ain't good. Your service ain't good. You tainted. And then now you got an X on your name. Now you can't hustle. You can't get your product off. Man, come on. Get me back in this business. That's all I gotta do is put a cross on my, all I gotta do is put this cross and recite scripture.
And I can eat.
And I can eat, and my kids can grow. Man, please. I'm gonna take this cross, but in closed doors, we're gonna do what we do from an African perspective. But once that started falling off, once the kids stopped falling, not thinking it was important, and begin to accept, oh, well, it's good, Daddy. We can just go to the church, Daddy. You know, they just said, you ain't gonna put no color to them, Daddy. Daddy, you just don't, you know, whatever. So then now you see how gradually things can go work right into, oh, this is what we do. You don't believe, you ain't no Christian, but what you believe then? You're looking down on you because you said you ain't no Christian. Because that's how confused they are from steps and steps of being indoctrinated. So now it's like you look down on until you got the information. Let somebody come to me talking about I ain't Christian. I'm going to tear their ass up, straight up. Straight up. They gonna know they ran into a fucking beast.
Right.
I'm gonna teach you about this. Yeah. So I'm serious. I'm so serious about that, because with that arrogance, with that ignorant arrogance, how dare you question my belief? And we don't know where yours came from. I eat your ass alive. Don't come to me. Not today. I'm not ready for that one. I don't have that. I don't got that much Christian and Jesus in me to stop me from how I'm gonna come at you. Right. Straight love, Jack.
Yeah. I love it.
I'm gonna fix that. I'm gonna fix that for you about coming at people questioning their understanding of creation and talking about you ain't Christian. Okay, but see, it don't happen to me. I hear other people talking about their experiences. For some reason, I can't get nobody to get me. I be baiting. I swear it's wrong to do this. I be baiting sometimes. I'm guilty of baiting. I'm guilty of baiting just to see, but I don't know, man. I can't tell you what it is, but it's something about something, bro. That don't nobody go there, man. They don't do that.
I love
they don't
it.
go there.
Hey, you know what though? Hey, I tell you this, King. Hey, I've been doing the same thing for man, it's at least a couple of years now.
Uh-huh.
And I can't get, I only get a few bites. And then once you get a couple of, you have a couple of exchanges of words. And after you put a couple of whoop wops on them, they haul ass, man. You don't hear from them no more. Hey, you don't hear from them no more, man. They don't want to talk. They don't want.
Hey,
Hey,
I tell you where to go. I tell you where to go.
What?
You go into the AA rooms.
Oh,
I'm up in the AA rooms, man. And I gotta walk away from the fight, right? Because I don't want to diminish their shit, right?
No, because
I don't want to diminish their stuff, right?
Yeah.
But they be coming, man, and they be coming, man. I'm like, boy, I gotta go get black on them again. So I know you want to say something, but after you share what you share, I'm not sure if you're done with your presentation. You don't have to be at all. Right?
Yeah,
but I want you to consider this prior to, before we get off.
Yeah.
And there again, you don't have to be done with your presentation, but I want you to consider, what would you share with the Caucasians that's eyes are not, that are opened, but their heart is still scared.
I would say
let me just say, based on the teachings that you just provided today about the development, and then with the other areas we went into, so go ahead.
I would recommend 2 people that they can go and listen to speak on YouTube for free. I'll give them 2 names. I would say Jane Elliott.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I would say listen to Jane Elliott, and I would say also listen to a guy by the name of Tim Wise.
Okay.
Tim Wise and Jane Elliott are pretty instrumental in describing these struggles that, and here's the thing, the struggle is because the Caucasians have been lied to as well. They've been misled and lied to. If truth be told, you teach them that we are extension of each other. Some of us just got caught on the other side of the weather, whatever, but we are all from one place. You know what I'm saying? That's all. But see, we have to dismantle the foolishness about superiority and about racial differences. We have to put those in this proper context as being a human construct, race being a human construct. Caucasus Mountains does not describe gender or does not describe culture or anything. It just describes a location. All right. And we know, what we know now is that man traveled all across this planet. So anyone who is wanting to understand, and just to say, listen, don't even put yourself in that category of you are separate from anybody else. You're learning from your dark-skinned brothers and sisters, your deeply tanned brothers and sisters, but these are your brothers and sisters. There's no difference. There is no difference. If there was a difference, we wouldn't be able to procreate. The difference is in the thinking. And they've been lied to about this whole thing, the white superior race. That's a whole lot to give a person, and then give a person the whole image of subjugating other people based on their color, and then put it in the Bibles that they've been taught to read. That's a whole lot for a person. To then be told you've been duped by your own folk. That's the hardest pill to swallow. Your own people lied to you. I put it like this. The people who you call your own people, you identify with as your own people, lied to you. They lied to you. They made you believe this for financial gain. And then they stole information from the same people that said they didn't have anything. They stole it from them, rewrapped it, and sold them back to them, and justified their treatment of them as a result of it. So I would go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, because I was just going to say, I don't want you to lose your point either, but you said something really intricate. So I'm going to put it in a question. Why did you differentiate the folk that you claim are your folk?
Because within the lie is saying that the white race is a pure race. Within the lie, it says that, so if you're white and you're pure, you are my brother. It is written so we are brother, we're related, we're connected. So within that lie, my point is just saying that they will be lying to you, saying that we're connected, but also lying to you about the lie. That makes sense. Lied about the whole story in the first place, but wanting you to believe it because it benefits them.
And
I
because
don't know
we
if I'm making myself clear. Because
yeah, you're making yourself clear.
right.
Well,
White folks did not tell all the white folks about the scheme. Constantine didn't tell all the white folks about what was happening. He told the folks who had paper. Everybody else was a different class. So these are Romans who kept each other in certain classes and shit like that. So the people who he was instilling this into the most are the ones the poor, the hungry, who were saying, yeah, I'm sick of being hungry. What do we do? He said, take up these arms and go chase off everybody who don't support Christianity. And if you believe in this, if you accept Christianity as your faith, just know that in your death, you will live forever. So go out and fight and bring that gold and stuff back to me. Bring that stuff back. That's what I need you to do. So the biggest believers are the people he kept the resources from. Because the people who have resources, I don't got no reason to believe that shit you talking about. Man, I got paper over here. I got cows. I got chickens. I know why I plant my garden. You ain't going to tell me this comes from Jesus. I'm the one out here watering this plants. So you can't tell that to me. But if you got the seeds, you have access to the river, now you can sell me any story you want to give me that. So here's the point in the lie is saying, I created this story as an invader. I adopted a story. I changed the characters. I took information from the folks who I adopted the story from and created a society based on it. And after that, I justified my statement because probably I was too damn scared that the people who I adopted the story was going to tell it, was going to expose me. So I had to discredit them by enslaving them folk. That's just theory. But again, justification of that kind of treatment is unjustifiable from the same people who now have organizations to preserve dogs, cats, trees, pandas, goldfish, monkeys, salamanders. But where's the preservation of the African male and female? We know they've been desecrated. We know the history, but through the mindset of white supremacy, you will never see nothing wrong with this picture. But so I tell to the white person, erase the lie, consider yourself my equal, never ever think you're greater than me or less than me, and do your homework. Study world history. Don't study just American history, study world history. And you already got to start because National Geographic and all these other stations are already telling you where your story came from. It didn't come from Europe, it didn't come from the Caucasus Mountain. Your story began in Africa. So start in Africa. So just start in Africa. And to put yourself in the picture. Don't separate yourself until you see migration, you see climate change, you see who got caught based on climate change in what parts of the world and how that affected your skin color, but how it also affected the mindset of those people as well. So again, with the mind, you can always restore your mind. Yeah. And hell, in some, you can restore your mind when you got the right information, right? You know what I'm saying? You can do that. And then you understand how everything else falls in place. So that's all I would say. Just do that. Erase the lie and don't, and then be ready to correct it. Don't be around folk, letting folk keep talking crazy and you know differently. Address them in the way, most safe way possible, address it. But a lot of times people don't want to, because this is a white person told me this too, that there is a social order amongst white folks. So you don't want to be the one to kind of be too something, especially along the lines of politics or even racial stuff. I mean, you can't be too something. Yeah, you can in your own certain circle say this is wrong, but you
don't want to be no nigga lover.
You ain't gonna be the one in your community with the damn Black Lives Matter posted in your block while everybody else got Trump signs. Shit, you ain't gonna be that. That's the point. See, when you start ready to stand up and speak out on that, because you always gonna have family on the black side. You always gonna have family on the black side, but see, we gonna accept you. But it's just them folk, the ones who say that your people who will say once you go black, you better not come back over here. It's them who say that foolish stuff. But see, we different. So the biggest thing is just teach the brothers and sisters of all the planet where we came from and who stole the story and who stole the information and ask and why. And then follow your heart. Follow your heart.
Man, my wife be giving out that information, man.
That's good. That's good.
She be giving out the information. It took her a minute, man, but she been giving it out, man, and
That's good.
boldly too, man. And I'm so proud of her and stuff. And she was one of those that I was like, damn, I've been lied to. And
they lied to both of us. They lied to both sides. Somebody had an agenda that didn't involve the Africans or didn't involve even certain classes of white folks, period. And it didn't them either, period.
My wife stopped saying, you might want to talk to Lorenzo about that. She started dropping them dimes on him.
There you go. That's what's up. Yep. Yep. And that's it. And that's all it is. And, Jane Elliott does not stutter over what she's talking about. Jane does not apologize for what she knows to be true. She don't speculate on that. Tim Wise, another one. I'm surprised Tim had been found in the East River with bricks tied to his ankle.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Hey, Jane Elliott, it's surprised that they ain't shut her down.
Jane too.
Jane is cold, man. Tim Wise is cold too. I only listen to a couple of Tim Wise, but I listen to a lot of Jane Elliott.
Yeah. So
man, there again, if you ain't done, that's cool. But I want to tell you, man, you let the cat out the bag. So what I mean by that is you're gonna have to come back. I'd like you to come back again.
Okay.
And drop that fight on.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Drop that fight because this was fire, man. It was highly necessary. I'm shipping it off to as many people as I can, man. But I seen that monkey come out, man. I seen it before.
Silverback.
Hey, man. Man. That's powerful, man. And again, King, if you ain't done, man, finish going, man.
No, like I said, we can pause here, man, because I know it's getting later in the evening. There's the information. It's this whole book. So today was just an introduction to just having a conversation about mental growth and development and how that affects, our daily lives, how it's a crisis going on, and it's because of the way our young people are thinking. It's because of their thinking. A lot of it has to do with the thinking. So we can tackle some of those issues by addressing a different thought process, then that's our work. And when we got the information, all we have to do is spread it. We pick someone and we start talking with them. And if we got it, and especially with the way Zoom is working, I'm sure there's some sisters that even in y'all community that who y'all know got some wayward little boys, little girls, some direct them to Sankofa. Let's start having a place where they are sitting down in front of this computer, listen to us talk to them for 30 minutes. If it's just 30 minutes. And then I'm bet them mothers will be more than willing to look. I'm gonna make sure I send $5 to this or $10 to this every time because this is needed. So we start doing it on this basis, you'll be surprised where this will go. We'll be in somebody's schools.
Hey, well, listen, here's the thing, man. Like Unc, listen, man, Unc has always been in the community and doing things, man, mentoring and all that, man. I'm this right now. Me, I ain't never. This is my first go around with trying to help somebody or anything like that, man. Anything what you two guys do on a regular basis. Cause like I said, Unc is on it on a regular basis, just like you. I mean, that's your job. But Unc is he volunteered. So this is how dedicated the brother is he. This is the voluntary, man. He does it on, this is what he does. This is what he does. You know what I mean? So I'm saying, man, that I'm all with it, man. And I'm not sure how Unc feel about it, but Unc, I mean, that's the, you know, I gotta, you know, gotta talk with Unc and Carrie and, you know, I
Man,
mean, Prince, you know, we gotta, you know, so I mean, Unc, I mean, so he ain't said nothing, man. Talk, man, say something.
Shit, man, I'm letting you flow, man. I
No,
told
I'm
you,
just saying.
dude. I learned.
Not-
Hey, one thing I learned about Jamie, man, is I ain't rushing his conversation, man, because that boy becoming thick, right? And now he just at a crossroads, right? So he's at a crossroads. So he
No, I'm
trying to
just
put
saying.
me,
I'm
trying to
just
put
saying.
me in.
No, because I can't make no decision like that by myself.
Right,
What I'm
right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right.
So that's why I said so.
So
Like
you know
Unc
what
has
we need
already
to.
been into this, and you've already been into it. You know, so you guys gonna probably have to show me how to communicate to the, you know, well, maybe I probably could already. I don't know, man. I mean,
Dude, you've been doing it. So this is what I
right.
think. Dude, you've been doing it, right?
I'm just saying, man. But like,
You just
I'm
don't
all
have this.
for it, man. Like
You don't have this experience. So
right. I don't.
what I'm saying is you can't minimize what you did, but I know you're identifying you haven't done it in this capacity, right? So,
Right.
but what I'm saying is, you know, we don't need to make a decision on what we're contemplating right now. We need to talk about it, right? We need to
Yeah.
talk about it, right? Because there's two things at play right now. One is, you know, your new involvement in these type of interactions with people and in a community. And the other one is, you know, the expansion of platform.
Yeah, because I don't and that, that and I don't I don't have like the information that y'all have as far as when it comes to the mentoring or fostering or even, you know, what counseling, you know, counseling these kids and children, man. Like I don't have that experience, you know what I'm saying? And you know, so that's, I mean, and I I don't have a program to push to them other than kinetic thought. That's all I have, King. I mean, you know, kinetic thought in our history. You know what I'm saying? And where, you know, and that's all I have, King. So I mean, I don't know if I have, you know, anything to really offer, you know, with that, man.
Yeah, that's not true. You just got to find, you know, the
Oh,
environment.
you got it to offer, yeah.
Because you definitely got it. Look where I'm at, man. Look where I'm at, and it's off your heels, man. Of course, you know I know what you're gonna say. I ain't even going there, right? It's off of your heels. Man. So it's just a different environment, man. You know, you go to work and you come home to them kids, man, and you do those things, man. See, my life consists of, you know, I don't have the kids, right? You know, and I got the community, you know.
But you know, now I did have, I went, now I do have not a motto, but I have like, so what we talking about more is like behavior modification programs. And am I close? Am I close? It's almost like a behavior
Yeah, without a
modification,
doubt,
right?
without a doubt.
Right. And so I've been through some of them, man, and I picked up on a lot of stuff from them places, right? And one of the, you know, that little thing that I said earlier about, you know, what is a man and all that came from one of those programs, man, and I thought that was real, and it really just, it really touched me, right? And but I mean, I guess I could, man, but I mean, wow, dude, that's,
It
yeah,
ain't no guess, man.
that would be ideal, man, to what we trying to do here, man, is to reach these kids, King. And that's what I'm, you know, my thing was, I just wanted to show them our history, King. I you know, because you know, I never really thought about counseling, or if that's what that is. Pretty much that's what it is, right?
It could be
Counseling or
mentoring, it could be
mentoring.
counseling, it could be
Mentoring, yeah, right.
you know, then there's a whole bunch of mentoring.
Hey, mentoring, they call it street ministry, man. They do, you know, they give all kind of titles to it. You Jack, you know,
Right,
you know,
okay.
we decide what it is, what it is for us. Yeah, you know, and what it you know, but I think Oh no, you bring your whole life experience to the table, brother. You have a plethora of information to pull from, for sure. So you definitely ready.
I don't think that Jamie doubts his information, his intel. He just doesn't, he's not out there, right? And so he doesn't have the resources, right? He doesn't
That's simple.
he don't have the so that's what I'm doing, simplifying it, right?
That's we can there. That's
So the
easy.
resource to go to, right? And
There you
so
go.
you know what you want, and we could talk about that more, man. But you know what you want, but you got to get out in that community to go give it, right?
Yeah.
And you got to find which area community, and I think that's more of what Jamie is. And you can correct me
Hey,
if I'm wrong.
hey, let's end this real quick, man, and then finish up, so we can get going, man. Hey, so
He
all
don't
right,
want,
that's
he
that's
don't
cool.
want all his he don't want all his info out there yet.
Right.
No, no,
I'm
no,
fucking with
man.
you.
Hey,
Hey, no,
hey,
hold
Sean,
on
go ahead.
before we get off.
Go ahead.
Carrie, I want to ask you a question. So will you be willing to share where you came from and that from the ending part of what we talked about and how you can relate to what was presented and how it ties together for you today?
Absolutely. First of all, I want to say thank you, Eric, for the plethora of information that you have given us. I hope that you come back and do more of these presentations.
Yes.
Really
She
good
really
stuff.
hope you talk to me so I can get my shit right.
But I was scared to death when I first started listening to these, and I was so brought up in the church, and I had to do it these ways, and and then I realized I'd been lied to, and I was just so blown away. I was like, why were we all lied to for years and years, generations of
Yes.
families? And yeah,
And
so
share your experience with and your feelings and your thoughts with your grandma.
well, my grandmother was very, very, very set in the church, and she taught the mentally handicapped on Saturdays and Sundays. We went to church all the time. It was just a huge part of our lives, and she died at 98, and I asked her if she was afraid, and she said, "Oh heavens, no, I can't wait to be at Jesus's feet and washing his feet." And I for years I thought, oh, that was the most beautiful thing. And then when I learned all these things, I was just so I wish she was still here so that we could talk about this stuff, so that she could see the truth and know the truth and feel what I feel. And I'm working on it. It's a continuing growth. And
What do you feel?
well, I think I'm past the anger now. Now I'm excited about learning more. At first, I was so angry over being lied to that I had like a wall around me, and I was afraid. And I was afraid that if I didn't believe how I was raised, that Jesus was going to strike me dead or something. I don't know. I had these fears, and I don't feel that way anymore. And I don't feel the anger. I feel the desire to learn more, and it builds on a daily basis. We can be watching a show on television or a video, or one of your speaker guys or something, and I go, wow, I never saw that part. And every day I feel like I build inside my core what I truly feel now. And it has replaced a lot of that anger and fear. And for that, I'm really grateful. That's why I continue to come back, listen to you guys. I appreciate all the work that you all do. And Jamie, never discount yourself. You provide a lot for us. And even though Lo, as a volunteer, goes out in the community and shares all this on a daily basis, and Eric does it, on a daily basis and with his work and all of those things, you do your part too, Jamie. And we all do. That's why we're here. We're here for a purpose. And I'm so thankful that we're all here. But listen, go ahead.
Tie that into what your presentation was about in your background and stuff like that, however you can do that.
Well, the parts about the brain and nurturing and, environment and all of that were familiar to me. The parts that weren't were how Black folk deal with a lot of different issues, from slavery, from beyond that, from Africa. I've always, I believe I came from, born out of a Black woman. I do. And how can people not see the facts of Kemet and still believe in their Christian ways? It just seems ludicrous to me. How can you look at these facts, actual facts and reality, and still have those beliefs? I don't get it. But that, that's, everybody has their thing, and all I can do is try to spread the truth to others. And that's what I'm trying to do with my kids. Are a little hard-headed, but my grandchildren and even some of them are hard-headed, but still I keep trying to give them the truth. And they're going to do what they're going to do with it. But I don't get out in the community a lot, but I do try to help people I talk to, friends and family, and spread the truth. So for that, I'm grateful, and I couldn't have done it without the work of you guys. And I'm truly thankful. I feel a peacefulness from that gratitude that I feel that I've finally been given the truth. And that's where I'm at. But listen, I'm going to go jump in the swimming pool. I want to get my time in for my exercise, but I love you guys all. You guys are all kings, and I appreciate all of you.
Thank you so much.
Hey,
Very
Kerry,
touching.
thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Thank you. Means a lot. Does.
I think you could have done better.
Oh, that's good.
No, I'm joking. I'm joking. That's beautiful. That was beautiful. Enjoy your pool, baby. I'll be out there in a minute.
Yeah, man. Hey, so yeah, okay. So anyway, so let's close out, King, and then let's close out real quick.
Okay, Eric, is there anything you else? Okay, go ahead and close out. Go ahead and close out, James.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, you want me to close? Okay, hey, okay, family. Hey, family, listen, man. Hey, again, this was a powerful presentation. This is part 1, so we're gonna have a part 2, okay? Because Eric got to finish it up, man. Because I like this conversation. I like this subject, and I love this presentation, man. Did I already say that? I said that already, didn't I? Hey, Yeah, but yeah, man. Uh, okay, and yeah, we got to definitely do the part two, man. Whenever you get ready, Eric, you just let us know, man, when you want to do it, man, and you get you a spot for sure, man. Not a problem. Uh, like I said, powerful
Okay.
presentation, man. Tell the queen I said thanks for the tech assistance. Yeah, you
Yes,
know what I
yes, she's
mean?
very
Yeah,
helpful.
yeah, man, and and we appreciate her input as well. Family, I just want to remind you the first Sunday of every month we're doing the children's book read. Uh, uh, and again, it's just about giving out our history, learning history, keeping our history alive, learning about real true people, true events. Oh, wait a minute, I'm sorry, family. I'm tripping. True, real people, true, real time, and true events. You know what I mean? Um, it's just important, family, that we teach this history, man. And it's all Black African books. All you have to do is participate. Put your name in the chat. We do a drawing at the end of the book read. The child that wins will win a free book, and no charge, mailed straight to you, man. And we would just hope that you would do the next book read. Uh, uh, and that's what we're doing, man. It don't cost you nothing. We ain't asked for no PayPal or what's the other one, man?
Cash out.
Cash App, none of that. We ain't asked for none of that, man. We just doing this, man, to get this information out there, man. Um, but thanks, family. Please like, subscribe, comment, give us a comment, let us know what you think. And hit that notification bell, man. All right. Uh, and that's all I got, King. Y'all go ahead. Unc, you want to close out or Eric?
Then I'll close out.
All right, go ahead, Eric.
I'll just say, as always, man, thanks for the opportunity to have a rap session with everybody. So let's keep it going. Part two to come. Just let me know. We'll talk more about that later on offset. And we keep doing what we do, man. We're gonna reach it. We're gonna reach somebody.
That's right. That's right. Unc, you go ahead, King. Hey, thanks you, Eric. Thanks a lot, man. Yeah, hey, again, wonderful, King. Beautiful presentation.
Thank you.
Yeah, Eric, man, you blessed to God, man. Thank you. Thank you. And so I'm gonna put you on point though. This is a great presentation, man, without a doubt, man. I love the work with studies of the mind, man, studies of the chemicals that work within us, the dynamics and stuff like that. And I didn't mean to say chemicals, I meant the dynamics of how things work, man. And it took us back to, a state of simplicity, right? Of the universal mindset, right? And how the brain works and how we can grow despite our thoughtful differences, right? And how we want to justify, continuing the fight to not do anything, right? Right. So you talked about, the babies, the adolescents, and then the adulthood. That's come to a time where we get out of that child state, man, of needing to be nurtured, right? And start gaining to nurture, right? We got to get out of that. That's the answer to me, right? And so, I love all of that, man. I love a part two. If you got a part two, Jamie mentioned the part two. That's the reason why I'm mentioning it. My part two for you would consist of that fire that we ended with. And you said, people don't want to smoke with you. You can't find that fight, right? And so, and I love that history. So either way you want to go, man, either way you want to go is cool with me, and you got a spot any week. You just let me know which week you want to present. The other thing that I want to And I love that book. I'm getting that book, right? You know,
Okay.
I'm gonna have to, you know,
That's a good one.
yeah, I'm gonna get that book, man. And the other thing I wanted to ask you was that the large print of that timeline, or was it the small, the medium one, small one, or the large one? Of that scroll, was it the large one, or was it the
Yes, it was a long one.
yeah, and
Yeah, it was a long
that's about
13 feet, I think.
13 feet. Exactly. Because it was blowing my mind, man. It was blowing my mind, like 13 feet by a foot and a half inch, right? You know, something like that. So, okay, and that's the other thing. Another point is, I don't know if your wife would want to present something sometime. If so, you know, I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there.
Okay, I'm glad you said that. She can hear you. She in the kitchen, but I sure will ask her. Yeah, but definitely.
And you know, dude, you know, without a doubt, and that's any week.
I'll ask her.
That's any week. You know, only one that would we'd have to move. You know, question is if Queen Yamaya presents, right? Because me and Jamie can move around anytime, right? And so, and then I really like you to come back. I don't know if I'm going to present next week. Jamie, you want to present next week or me? I got something already, but if you want to present next week, it's cool.
Oh, baby, I'm glad you got something. Yeah, you go ahead and present it, man.
So Eric, I would like you to come back and the video is about 52 minutes long. It's the rest of that what I opened up with, right?
Okay.
But it has a lot of information. I played a video of Ray Hagan's prior to, and but this one has different information in it, right? And so and I know that you would be on point, and that Jamie's gonna be on point, and I learned a few things from it, right?
Okay.
So I'm gonna show that one next week. I don't know if you'll be available or not, but even if you're not available, I can send you the video, and I'll actually send it to you, so you can
yeah.
Then I'll play it, and then we'll have better dialogue about it, right?
Oh, cool. That'd be good. Good.
And I usually won't do that, and I usually won't ask you what your presentation is about, because I like to slide in on a nigga, right? And then I like to be surprised. I like to be surprised too, right? And then that goes to that area that you were talking about. Is I'm not trying to gain the masses. The people that show up are gonna get it thick, no doubt, right? And so next week I'm gonna present something, man, and the children's book read is going really good, man. You know, so you know we got that every first of the month, and so and then we're gonna try to get as many group members of the group of Sankofa 180 degrees to take a portion of the 42 laws of Ma'at, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4, you know, however many, and give a description of that, you know. So that's coming up soon, you know, and within a month or so, we'll probably start on that, right?
Okay.
So there again, Eric, you know, thank you, man. I know you're a busy man, and you know, I feel really privileged and honored that you, with your experience, man, you know, was willing to come on and share. And then you shared, you know, something unorthodox, but Sankofa is all about the variety.
Yeah.
And so I really appreciate that, man. And I appreciate wifey jumping in, and I hope she wants to share something, but you know, no pressure. No pressure. And any week for her too, you know. So
okay. All right. Well, I definitely let her know. Well, she can hear you, so she knows.
Okay. Hey, I wish I wouldn't have cussed, man. Oh, but you cuss. But you cuss.
I cuss a lot around here.
Right. Yeah. So there again, you know, thank you both, and thank you, Queen, your wife, man, for, you know, supporting you and giving us this time, man.
I will. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Hey, so listen, man, I appreciate you. Hey, so listen, okay, family, peace out. We'll see you next week, all right?
Hey, we gotta remember to like and share or dislike and comment.
Right, that's right. Like, share. Hey, if you don't like it, let us tell us you don't like it, and then
Right.
then you can let us know why too. All right, and,
Right.
and you're more than welcome to come on and let us know. And we're gonna respect you